In position, your first caller, Phil Aspinall.
Umpire David Soberach holds the ball aloft, and both sides are underway for season 2024. It'll be Big Redden uses his superior frame. Hit out down looking there for his teammate in Riley Knight. Stacks on the mill on the outside of the cricket wicket area here at Montine Kia Oval. 10 seconds in. Second stoppage ensues. Good work there from Redden. Hit out over the back looking for Deloya, running at full pace and nothing doing again at the bottom of the pack where we'll see most of him today. Riley Knight picks himself up. Gives the ball back to the umpire. Loving the Eagles in that beautiful heritage Guernsey. A nice royal blue with the gold eagle on the front. Hit out again from Redden. This time West Adelaide will take possession through Krieger, the debutant. Gets a hand pass back to Bramich and look like West Adelaide are going to go forward now on this occasion. It's a good kick and it's found Maguire.
Nice start there for Lockie Williams on debut in finding Maguire. Now he'll be the beneficiary of 25. Doesn't mind playing Woodville-West Torrens. Averages 16 disposals against them over his journey. Now, he's just slightly outside of his zone. I think he knows that too, especially with no real breeze to speak of. Elam starts a lead.
And the 25 given against Luke Beacon there. Chris, ill-discipline from the Eagles.
So Maguire, in his 43rd SANFL match, crosses the 50. That's coming back, but not quite far enough. Not through for the first score of the contest for West Adelaide. They are one behind. Woodville-West Torrens yet to enter their forward 50.
The ball will be brought back into play by the returning Josh Morris. Spent 4 seasons in the AFL. And he's donning the Darcy Moore Collingwood captain headband style. Kicks long to that outer side, looking for Ballenden. Good aerial ping-pong there. Tap down to the advantage by Buck, who's changed his number into number 2 this year. Moline with attack on the player. Newman can't quite get boot to ball. And Lucas Moline, the boy from Canberra, has won himself a free kick on that outer side wing. Loving the red shorts of the Bloods, by the way. Nice turn back to their history that we spoke about pre-game. So Lucas Moline opens up the angle, kicks it long down towards left half forward, and Brady Sell, the Glenelg recruit, dropped what he should have taken, bobs up like a cork in the ocean, gives it to Maguire, scramble kick inside 50. Elam should track towards it, Thompson there for the Eagles, Rowland first to it, boundary line beckons, hard up against the line, and over it goes. The boundary umpire will call for a ball in, so left forward pocket down at the southern end here of Woodville, Montine Kia Oval. We've travelled 2 minutes. It's a soccer score, 1-0 in favour of West Adelaide.
Ball about to come spinning back into play. An attack for West Adelaide where the ball has spent the opening minutes of this game camped. Throw in. Elam and Redden to go at it. Neither able to get a real clear purchase on it. Sign or dispossessed. Knight, he's been sat upon straight away by Frost. The umpire's circling, but benefit of the doubt rightly provided. About 40 out from the West Adelaide goal. Ruck's going at it again. Redden, deft tap down in the path there of Beacon, who is happy enough to see it over the boundary line for a throw-in. So players just feeling each other out at the moment. It is very warm conditions, folks. If you're doing Easter shopping, don't hide the Easter eggs in the car today. I'll give you the quiet tip. Throw-in. Redden and Elam again. Favoured Redden initially. Tap through. Trying to work through there was Joel Stevens. Sockers are out of the 50. Twisting and turning the skipper Johnson. Sends West Adelaide in towards attack. Plenty of numbers flying for it, but a strong mark taken there by Morris on the last line of defence.
He'll bring it now to this broadcast side. James Rowe in a bit of space. Takes the mark in the outstretched fingertips. Premiership player back in 2020. Of course, some time in the AFL with Adelaide. He was looking for Newman on the lead, but a fingertip by the debutant in Lachlan Williams. And over the boundary line for the throw-in we will have. 23-year-old from Encounter Blay, played 21 South Adelaide reserves games, did Williams. Trying his trade now with the Bloods as Bramich will compete against the big man in Redden. Redden won the tap out down. Bramich, though, with the clearing ball. Just pinballs around at the moment. Rowe with a quick clearing kick from congestion. Could have been an over-the-shoulder free kick or hanging on for Newman. Nothing doing, said the umpire. Sell taking in a wonderful tackle by Riley Knight. And Stacks on the mill. In front of your SANFL now broadcast team. It'll be a ball up. It's one behind West Adelaide. The Eagles yet to score. 4 minutes gone, first term.
Williams will feel at home because that jumpers that Woodville-West Torrens are wearing is very similar to the Encounter Bay jumper in that league.
It
Free
is.
Kick picked out, and it is the big Redden. So centre wing, grandstand side. Assesses his options. Pokes it up in towards the Ballenden direction. Confident start there by the big man. 29 goals last season. Wheels around. Deposits that deep and long into the pocket for a minor score. Dobbed it from 50 and made it look like it was a 30-metre pass.
It was just a chipping ball for him, wasn't it? It was a massive kick from Big Connor. Maybe just rushed it, but a point the result. Scores locked away. So 4 minutes 30 gone. 1 point apiece. As the ball will be brought back into play for West Adelaide to this broadcast side. Looking for a contested mark. Redden drops what he should have taken. Signal, the skipper, gives it off to Deloy. He'll throw it on the boot. Looking for Weckett. Great defensive spoil, though, by Ryan. And over the line it goes. And the vice-captain there just doing what Josh Ryan does so well. Chris, he's an underrated defender outside of West Adelaide, but he just gets the job done every week.
Underrated by the umpires too. Hasn't received a free kick since Woodville-West Torrens since round 7, 2021.
Well, the men in pink maybe just need to pay a bit more close attention to young Ryan, as the ball's going to be thrown back into play. Left forward pocket down at the club room end. Scoring opportunity here for the Eagles. Bramich with a hit out. Deloy with first possession. Big Bennett Ballenden just does the don't argue. Williams was taken high. Clumsy from the West Adelaide defender there. And Zane Williams, after a season and a bit over in Geelong 2 years ago, will be lining up for his first goal. And I reckon while he's lining up, he might be kicking around the corner, which we see the modern player do so often. So
Williams just felt the contact coming and dropped the knees.
Plays on now, kicks around the corner. Is that the first goal of the season for the Eagles? It is. Zane Williams draws first blood. Who supports community footy in SA? Amy does. And the Eagles go to 1-1-7. They take the lead, one behind. A good start for the Eagles, Chris, and a nice snap from Williams.
Breaks a nice drought for him too. His last goal, round 8, 2023 against Port Adelaide. But a very underrated player outside of this club. Just gets his job done every week, and look at the stat sheet and suddenly find he's got 20 touches before you know it.
And he got picked up mid-season by Geelong, a club that he supported as a kid, but managed just 9 VFL games for Geelong and then delisted by the Cats back to the Eagles last year, and he's a quality player at this level.
Certainly the beneficiary of that time in the system. So ball back in the centre. Woodville-West Torrens getting the opening goal here of the season at Woodville Oval. Umpire ready to slam it into the turf. That's a beautiful bounce. Sharon Harris will be nodding over his coffee Monday morning with that. Mackay working out of the centre. Goes backwards by hand to Deloy. Navigates his way through the situation cleverly. Up until about 40 metres out from goal. Ballinen came in and met it very cleverly. Looping handball over the top. Having a shot there from 35. Not able to finish it off was young Buck. That is a minus score. 1-2-8 the Eagles. West Adelaide one behind after they had all the forward 50 dominance in the opening 4.
Like what you did there, Chris. Young Buck there, just missing the boy from Port Districts. Changed jumper numbers in the off-season. He was 49 last year. Progressed all the way up to number 2 as the Bloods will again bring the ball back into play. Kick up the middle is a poor one. Been intercepted here by Beacon. Lowers the eyes. The Eagles can raffle it, and the veteran in Goldsworthy has marked in the forward pocket at the southern end, where his officers are. The football manager during the week for Woodville-West Torrens, Matty Goldsworthy, 2-time premiership player, a veteran of the competition, let alone the Eagles. And 245 today. Fast approaching 200 goals as well. He's on the runway from the paint of 50. Leans back on it. It's a good looking kick. It's drifting, but he snuck it home. Goldsworthy has his first. The Eagles have 2. And 8 minutes gone. It's 2-2-14 Woodville-West Torrens. The Bloods one behind. And it's a fast start for the home side. Chris Kendall.
They just look a little bit cleaner, I think, in the contested situations at the moment. West Adelaide caught flat-footed a few times on the turnover, and that will be a concern to Adam Hartlett. Wants them to really play that style of football where they trend back quickly and go man-on-man. And Matt Goldsworthy, second oldest man out in the ground. That's one of the reasons I think they got Jared Redden back to the club.
And, of course, Redden had a year off last season playing back home with his local community club, Southern Eagles, over on the York Peninsula, and talked into coming back out as an assistant coach with Sam Jacobs, but due to lack of rucking options, he's been talked back into playing.
Started pretty well so far with some deft ruck taps. Down there tonight, Deloyer. Heard the voice on the outside of Mackay. Back in towards Goldsworthy. Deloyer, they're sharing it around by hand at the moment, the Eagles. So an option they like breaking in towards that outer side. Eagles just chip over the top. It's set up perfectly for Knight to come running back with the flight. 70 out. Hands it off. Eagles getting another repeat forward 50 stoppage, but that's going to be an easy pick off there by Minchella, who was initially looking to go towards that outer side, but the man who was involved very busily in that opening passage there. Herbert just knocks it over the boundary line for a throw-in. Woodville-West Torrens leading by 13 points, 9 gone. You're with Phil Aspinall on SANFL now. Yeah,
another talented youngster there, Cade Herbert, just 17 years of age, debuted last year in round 14. He was in number 17, so plenty of jumper changes out there for both sides this year, as the ball's going to be thrown back into play on that outer side. That's veteran SANFL boundary umpire Damien Robertson. Game 219 is back into play. Ellum does well, takes it out of the ruck. Handballs off to the skipper now in Johnson, wearing the traditional number 1. He helicopter punts a kick towards half forward, looking there for Bramich, overrunning the footy there. Ferns did well, goes back to try and get around the opponent in Bramich. Clever work there from Litster. Got a handball back to the support. The quick kick from Moore. Spilled fortuitously here for the Eagles player in Rowland. The kick down the line, intercepted on centre wing that outer side. The Bloods have some numbers back through Elam. He chips short and he's got the skipper in Johnson.
So Johnson streaming into space there is Searle at centre half forward. Hasn't seen that one. Moline also calling for it short. Now Kobe Ryan's on as well, but Johnson just waiting for some other options to present themselves. Goes deep in towards the pocket. This is a good start from Maguire.
Nice mark.
Certainly was. Goes in towards the pocket. Ryan just kept drifting down. He'd been without an opponent for the last 45 seconds. And for a man who has had 20-plus disposals in his last 10 games, unwise by the Eagles.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, young Kobe Ryan. Wins plenty of the footy. He's diminutive in stature, but he wins his own ball, puts his body over the line. And I think if he wants to take his game to the next level, pushing forward like this and kicking goals will be key.
The only West Adelaide player to poll McGarry votes when these teams met last year. One vote in round 18. But Ryan kicks a goal roughly every 2.5 matches. Goes from 45. That's coming back.
Nice.
That's coming back well. He liked that the minute it left the boot. Big celebrations from Kobe Ryan. And West Adelaide get their first goal of the 2024 season. They are 1-1-7. Woodville-West Torrens 2-2-14. A fast, entertaining start.
Absolutely, Chris. Good quality standard of footy on a picture-perfect Good Friday day here at Montine Kia Oval. And Kobe Ryan, the 20-year-old from the Plimpton Bulldogs, made his debut in round 6 of 2022 against Adelaide. A player wearing one of those high numbers back then, number 64. He started off with CK, so elevated himself to number 10 and, importantly, kicked himself a goal this afternoon.
Dylan McCormick just entering the arena for his first run. He had 3 games last year and showed a bit, I thought, moving up forward.
Yeah, and Dad Simon, a premiership player, a Western Ferris rather, at West Adelaide way back in 2008. So back in the middle with umpire Sam Morgan. He notched his 100th game last year. Had a chat to him pre-game. He was doing the bounces, and this will go very high, CK. He loves the cricket wicket area. Didn't go too straight. He might recall that one, but it favours Elam on this occasion. Taps it down to the goal kicker, Ryan. Now to Redfern, but his hand pass was partially smothered. Rowe did well for Woodville-West Torrens. Off to the running Beacon. Back now to Ballenden. Some footwork was fancy through some traffic, but the whistle's gone, and it's going to come back. Or a downfield free, perhaps. It was Beacon who was felled by Redfern after he disposed of the footy. And then it must be a 25-metre penalty. So Luke Beacon, the grandson of famous Adelaide Crows administrator John Condon, and he's been asked to come back over the mark. And we'll have to take that kick again.
In fairness, the umpire's signals were like a beacon. Sorry.
It was pretty obvious, and that was pretty obvious to take the pun there.
Last you hear of it, folks, I promise.
So Beacon now. Spent some time through the midfield last season, lowers the eyes, looks for a leading target, and Ballenden on the chest. Good ball movement from the Eagles. I think there's a difference early days so far, CK. The Eagles look a little bit cleaner. Westie's a bit scrambled. Ballenden lining up for his first.
And every full forward would just love that sort of delivery. A piercing low pass. It doesn't matter who the defender is, you're not going to get that one.
As you mentioned earlier, he kicked 29 goals last season, was the Eagles' leading goal kicker. Connor Ballenden, originally born in New Zealand, 3 AFL games with Brisbane. We know for sure that distance won't be an issue. It's just a question of accuracy. So the kick on its way looks pretty good. It's drifting a little bit right as he snuck it in. No, a minor score. So 2 behinds for Ballenden, and the Eagles go to 2-3-15. They lead West Adelaide 1-1-7, and in this opening quarter, we've gone 13 minutes.
Leading today at goal in 5 of his last 6 matches in 2023. As West bring it out and isolate Josh Ryan in the back pocket. So about 45 out from his defensive goal. There's nothing really moving. Kobe Ryan is up the lines in a mismatch. Has seen that one, but elects to go further in towards the Ned Stevens direction. Player taken high. Kind of ducked into that one again. It was like Williams before. Felt the contact coming, did Morris. Just lowered the eyes. Oh, Ballenden all by himself. Heavens above.
Adam Hartlett would be pulling his hair out, CK, because you cannot leave a quality player of Connor Ballenden alone inside 50. But again, you touched on it earlier. How good's the delivery inside 50 from the Eagles? Their forwards would be licking their lips.
Oh, look, at the moment, the blades of grass would be feeling some of these passes are just perfect. So Ballenden has missed his first 2. Again, there is just no breeze to speak of at all here, folks. So it's going to be pure skill as he crosses the 50. First one went right. Second one went left. Third one does exactly what my geometry teacher always would say with the law of averages for his first. 3-3-21. West Adelaide are 1-1-7, a game-high 14-point margin. West Adelaide just making a few elementary errors coming out of defence early.
Yeah, they are, CK, and they're not really playing their defensive game as they need to. They're checking loosely, and the forward line players of the Eagles are able to get the ball inside 50 unopposed. And we'll have a quick look at some of the stats, because I think the Eagles will be dominating from a disposal perspective. They're plus 14. The one I'm interested in is the inside 50 count as we scroll down to that. And we're looking at the count now of 7-4 in favour of the home side. So a fast start for Woodville-West Torrens. The Bloods will be keen to get this next one. Fast start for the Panthers at Noarlunga as well. They're nearly 4 goals up over Adelaide, and Central out at Prospect, 3 goals up over North Adelaide. Both those games a little bit earlier than our start. There's a nice bounce from the umpire. Ballenden down to Sinor, looking for Deloya. Well done, Ellen, but Deloya went in fast and got the footy, gave it back out to a teammate in Herbert. And now the Eagles will look to go to that outer side. Collision coming up. Ballenden kept his ground. Umpire called play on advantage. An opportunity here for one of the debutants in Mackay, who'll run inside 50. The boy from Narendra kicks towards goal and has nailed it. Quality finish there from the young debutant in Luke Mackay. And class with a capital C on debut. A bit of a senior mature age player, 27 years of age, won 3 BNFs at Narendra. And that is a wonderful goal to Woodville-West Torrens. They go to 4-3-27. Westies 1-1-7. And that was a wonderful finish, CK, from the recruit.
And you called that beautifully, Phil. I reckon 2 or 3 seconds before he kicked it, that was a fait accompli. Had plenty of time and space in which to balance up, and a magnificent finish there. As you mentioned, from Narendra, not a known SANFL football factory, but certainly has had plenty of experience in that system.
Central had one player called Luke Cowan who won a couple of premierships. He was from Narendra. He was a big, strong full forward.
Remember Luke very well. Good day if you are watching, although I've got no doubt he'd be watching the game across town. I know, but the only person that wants to watch the Central's game across town, I'd suggest, back in the centre. The perfect bounce from the umpire. Tap down. Ryan tries to go back in there. Player being held, and West Torrens will be the recipient of the free up towards half forward. Ball just comes smuggling out in towards the Maguire direction. He's been wrapped up straight away for a ball up.
Westies just need to make something happen here, CK, because the Eagles are off to that fast start and might get away from them before quarter time.
Just need to go back to one-on-one football there, I reckon. Notice Ladato's trying to make a loose man at centre-half forward as the ball is bobbling through Sinor. Deloya flicked it out towards Morris. Was that legal? West Adelaide players all looked up towards the umpire. Just let the play keep flowing. And it's going to be a ball up, 30 out from the West Adelaide goal, currently trailing by 20 points.
Jai Cinderbury turned and pleaded to the umpire as the ball went behind him. He needed to just keep his eye on the footy. As the ruck work competed there by Redden, down at ground level. Maguire on hands and knees trying to get it out. Well done there in the end by Sinor. Received the hand pass from Knight. Westies doing well to try and hold the ball in. They're pleading for holding the footy. And out the back of the contest, umpire Zachary Packard says it'll be my football. So 25 metres out from the Bloods goal. 17.5 minutes gone in this first term. SANFL now action. Phil Aspinall, Chris Kendall. The intercept there from Sinor by Cindenberry. Going to ground there. Might have been a high tackle contact on McCormick. The umpire says nothing doing. So we'll have a ball up as the players get a little bit heated there, CK. A bit of push and shove, but you'd expect that in round 1 of season 2024. The ball in the right forward pocket, southern end.
Looking for some early supremacy on the scoreboard here, Woodville-West Torrens to maintain. Ball's just worked away there from the stoppage, but it's up in towards a Moline direction. Just dispossessed by his opposing 17 in Weckett. Great start there for the young man. Had a taste of league football last year in his 5th game.
Chose footy over cricket, a very talented cricketer. I think represented SA at under 18s level. A very quick, fast bowler.
Went from being a wicket to a wicket. Has 40 out from his defensive goal.
I actually chatted with Sam Jacobs on the middle of the cricket oval, the cricket wicket area pre-game, and I said, "You're going to bat or bowl if you win the toss, Sauce."
Big punch over the top there from Williams. Sees it over the boundary line for a throw-in. So 20-point margin, 7 scoring shots to 2. West Adelaide just really need to tidy up their disposal at the moment and stop allowing Woodville-West Torrens so much space, you would suggest. Throw-in.
They're just cleaner with the footy as well, aren't they? They're using the ball better and finding their targets easier.
Most definitely. Every time I see the red shorts and the 29, I keep wanting to call Elam Luders. I just feel like I am going back to 1983. Redden. Looping handball over the top. That was well cut off in here, however. He's trying to work it away now through Kobe Ryan. Saw something he liked down there on the outer side where it's Joel Stevens.
So Stevens, handballs now forward to the teammate running past. And it is Frost who kicks inside 50. Better ball movement from the Bloods there, and the big presentation from Bramich has taken the mark 48 metres out on a slide angle. And, well, the Bloods did then, CK, what the Eagles have been doing to them all day.
Was just trying to get a little bit of separation there too, which we haven't seen too much of in this opening 19 minutes.
So the big man from Penguin in Tasmania kicks from right on the paint of 50. Doesn't quite make good contact. They're going to get to the line. Almost a mark there for the Bloods. A chance for Lodato. A snap across the face. It's still in the field of play. Thompson for the Eagles takes the mark. Relieving back pocket. He'll chip short and find Williams. Lodato probably could have done better from where he was there, but the kick was a little rushed, as it's now marked there by the goal kicker in the opening term in Mackay. He'll chip short and find Rowland. Bob Quinn medalist, the best on ground in the grand final rematch on Anzac Day. As Beacon now will switch to this broadcast side. A dangerous kick here, but up to the task for Woodville-West Torrens was Morris. He chips short, he finds Rowe, and they're away.
So Rowe brings it out in front of this grandstand position. Chris Kendall and Phil Aspinall bringing all the play here today as Newman dispossessed. They're looking for advantage, but none. So the umpire wisely and rightly calling that back. Newman thinking about chipping inboard, indicating he wants to keep it on this same side of the ground. There's a +1 in there for Woodville-West Torrens at the moment. Trying to work through there was Wecker initially. Tackle comes in, that's holding the ball. If you can get the arms free, then you have had prior opportunity, and Moline, the recipient of the free. Unusual to catch Sinor in that situation. So Moline is going to be forced to go down the centre here, where he's spotted up Lodato in a 2-on-1 situation. See, West Adelaide have got the numbers working through, going long and deep into attack. McCormick just needs the ball to set up, just needs to try and work his way around Rowland also. That's a great battle down in there between two players. Who's going to win on this one? I reckon a ball up's the right outcome for that one. Both having a real crack at it. Neither are getting clear purchase on it, and it's a ball up, 15 out from the West goal.
Yeah, great advertisement of one-on-one footy there. Well done by both boys, in McCormick and Rowland. He's competing in the ruck work. Elam takes it out, tries to spin out of a tackle. Great work there from the Eagles player in Morris. It should be rewarded accordingly, and is. And he's had an impressive start so far, the former Hawthorn player, Josh Morris, CK. I think he's going to be very good for the Eagles this year.
Absolutely. Shows all the benefit of those 15 games in the AFL.
As the switch to that outer side finds that player we mentioned earlier in Rowland. The man from the Balaclava Peckers. Played in something like 11 consecutive grand finals all through his junior age, right up to coming down to Woodville-West Torrens and playing in some reserves premierships. That's, dare I say it, Chris and James Gowan-esque. As the short kick there from the skipper in Sinor didn't go the required distance. The lawyer goes back to the aforementioned Sinor, and, well, you can roll the Benny Hill music, CK, because that wasn't great from the captain in Joe Sinor. Doesn't normally make those kind of errors, and the turnover has resulted in a free kick to the Bloods.
And they really need to goal from this, you feel. They have had their opportunities in this last couple of minutes. Up and towards the hot spot. Elam in the van. Punch comes in over the top. Deloyer at the fall of the ball. Was going to let it go out of bounds, but Williams called him to keep it in. Gets it back in the 1-2 Deloyer. Tried to just hurry it forward. Eagles just seem to have the looser players. Ballenden goes for the fly. Josh Ryman in there too. Nobody at all in the forward 50 there for Newman to try and work it towards. He's going to have to try and keep it in front of himself. Win the 50-50 ball. That's fantastic work. Woodville-West Torrens now looking to go in towards the 50. Ryan 1-2. Great mark. It was 2-on-1, and the state fullback was able to win it out as he spots it up Redfern.
He did that so well, did Josh Ryan. Outnumbered, as you said. Won the important battle as Redfern chipped short. It's a well-weighted pass to find Sindenberry. He took the mark on the second juggle just inside the field of play. So we've ticked into time on. 4-3-27 the Eagles. 1-1-7 West Adelaide. There's a chance for them to go forward now. Some space inside attacking 50. It's a race for pace. It's Morris for Woodville-West Torrens. It'll be McCormack first to the footy. Goes to grounders. Dylan McCormack. Morris wraps him up in a tackle. And again, a good advertisement of one-on-one footy. Same result. A ball up inside the forward 50 here is just in a bit of frustration. Dylan McCormack just punches the ground in anger. But CK, the ball's with David Sobradge. He'll throw the footy aloft and get us back underway. Right forward pocket.
Doesn't get a stat for either passage, but Adam Hartley will highlight both of those last two efforts from McCormack in locking it into a situation where all look lost. And that's the sort of stuff that every coach will love.
Agreed.
So about 30 out now from the West Adelaide goal. Tap down. Having a shot from deep in the pocket was Morris, but it goes through for a minor score. So their first score since the 10.5-minute mark of the first term. West Adelaide is a behind.
Score update from Noongar CK. It's still South Adelaide 40-19, and the Doggies at halftime 41-24 over the Roosters.
Newman receives it from the kick in. Looks to chip short over there to Goldsworthy. Great mark, Lachlan Williams. Welcome to SANFL football. That is absolutely outstanding stuff on your league debut.
Wonderful effort, wasn't it? It was courageous. It was everything you wanted from your debutant. Bit of a mature ager as well at 23 years of age. So Williams in the number 58 kicks long down the line. Fly at the front there, couldn't be taken. Opportunity here for Newman, just throws it on the boot in earnest. The kick into the middle of Montane-Kia Oval. Patton with the spoil. Lodato did well. Handball was a bit hot to handle for Patton. Collision coming up. What? Maguire, a bit of composure, gives it to Searle. He's coughed it up though. Goldsworthy intercepts for the Eagles. Spinning out of trouble nicely was Mackay. He'll throw it on the boot, kick it towards left half forward. It's a one-on-one with White of West Adelaide up against James Rowe. He knows where the goals are. He dribbles, he bounces, he tries to keep it in play. Great work in the end though by White. And Jordan White, has he been pinged for deliberate? He did it well. He disguised it, in my opinion, that he just thought the boundary line was there and he'll take a step back over. But the umpire disagreed, and it is a free kick to the 2020 Ken Farmer medalist in James Rowe.
It was Louis Carroll who said curiouser and curiouser in Alice in Wonderland. I tend to agree.
So, sometimes you've got to take the luck when you get it, and it's in the hands now of James Rowe. Some time in the AFL with his dad's side, the Crows. The kick around the corner. That's probably a bit of football justice there, CK. A minor score, just the result. So the Eagles go to 4-4-28. They lead West Adelaide 1-8. We've gone 26 minutes in this first term.
A lot about the football gods, and sometimes they do what many hope for. Patton to bring it back in. Really intrigued to see what this young man brings to the table. Again, I've seen a lot of him in the 18s. Fantastic contested mark. Raking left foot on him as we see him casually deposit at 70 out from the goal. Tap down. Numbers working through here now for the Eagles. Moore thought about the handball, poked it in towards the attacking zone instead. Punch comes down. Searle just worried out of it. Plenty of numbers around the ball for both teams as the umpire calls in a stoppage at the about 25 metres out from the goal.
And you mentioned Will Patton there. Many touted unlucky not to be drafted. Under 18s at 2022 and 2023, and yeah, missed his chance at the next level.
Tap down. West Adelaide under siege at the moment. Searle just keeps it inside the boundary line. That's set up for Weckett to just drift through and knock it down to ground if nothing else. Moore, he's been wrapped up straight away by his opposing 9 in Ned Stevens. We're going to have a ball up centre wing, grandstand side, Woodville-West Torrens by 20. You're with Phil Aspel, 26.5 minute mark.
Jordan Moore, number 28 at Glenelg, played 7 league games for the Tigers, originally from Foss Camden. As the umpire just blew the whistle for a ball up as it squirted out the back of the contest. So Matty Goldsworthy retrieves and gives back to umpire Soberaj. So up goes the footy. Weckett will compete against Bramich. Bramich just nudged him out of it, but it comes now towards the player in Knight. Gives it to Goldsworthy off the preferred left. Just touched inside the field of play by Ballenden. And it'll be a boundary throw in right in front of the Eagles race under the Jarman stand here at Montane-Kia Oval. Right where the 50 joins the boundary line, the ball will be thrown back into play. It'll be Bramich up against Weckett. Bramich takes front position. Weckett tries to hit it down from behind. Coming through, Frost wrapped up immediately in a tackle. So left forward pocket down there at the club room or northern end. We'll have a ball up, about to tick into the 28-minute mark. It's the Eagles by 20 points.
West Adelaide will be desperate not to allow another goal through deep in this quarter. Brady Searle laying another tackle. His first game since crossing over from Glenelg, where he played 25 games at the Tigers. Missed out on last year's grand final team. Tap down.
Won a reserves flag as a bit of compensation, though.
True. I think coming from someone who never played in a final in the country, I'd say you'd take a reserves flag most times of the day.
Yep.
Ball up. Bramich takes it out of the air. Had the support cruising past. Comes down towards this centre wing. Comes squirting out towards Morris, who sends it back in towards the Woodville-West Torrens attacking zone. West Adelaide have got the numbers at the moment. They've got to think their way through this situation. Bramich stepped around 1, couldn't step around 2. Caught holding the ball. And Woodville-West Torrens player Riley Knight just getting up off the ground, feeling somewhat uncomfortable, shall we say, from a knock towards the lower part of the region, shall we put it.
Yeah, and I think Dylan Bramich just wasn't able to control his aggression and anger. He was obviously pinged holding the footy, and the 25-metre penalty for the contact afterwards has resulted in Riley Knight being advanced to about 10 metres out.
Has kicked the 48 SANFL goals. It's probably the one very slight knock on his game. If he could find that, 1 to 2 goal average a game, he'd be in even higher company than what he already is. Distance, no trouble at all. comes through. Neither is the accuracy for his first of the contest. And the home team skip out to a game-high 26-point lead. They are 5-4-34. West Adelaide 1-2-8.
It'll be so important for the Eagles this year. He only played the 5 games last year, CK, after having an ankle injury that resulted in surgery. But he's got the AFL experience, 55 at the Crows, Adelaide Crows Footy Club, and then at SANFL level, 44 games with them, and won the 2022 RO Shearman medal. And you talk to the players, and outside of the Magarey, of course, a premiership, the RO Shearman medal is pretty coveted because it's voted on by opposing coaches, so held in high regard. So nearing quarter time, Woodville-West Torrens, you'd say, in control, 5-4-34. The Bloods 1-2-8, 30 minutes just ticked into. Absolute cracking conditions here in South Australia. Trust you're enjoying the coverage on the SANFL Now stream, wherever you're watching. Around the state, the country, the world. Great value for money. All the competition throughout the SANFL you'll see on SANFL Now, as a secondary stoppage will ensue in the centre circle. And there goes the siren to end the first term. 30 minutes and 20 seconds it went for. And an opening quarter that was very impressive from the home side. 5-4-34 the Eagles. West Adelaide 1-2-8. CK footy aloft. We're underway in the second term here at Maughtine Kia Oval. It is the home side by 26 points as Bramich up against Redden. And it's the latter that won the hit out down. Frost, though, gives a hand pass out. Maguire dispossessed in the tackle. Deloyer runs away from his opponent, gets some space and kicks towards a contest. Bramich in the outstretched fingertips, couldn't quite take it. Maguire did well. Deloyer in there, diving in over the top of the footy was McCormack. He's wrapped up there by Jack Ferns, and we'll have a ball up inside the centre square, the cricket wicket area. 20 seconds into this first term. There'll be another competing effort there from the two ruckmen. Redden over the top. Spencer Johnson takes it, though, for Spencer. That's his brother. Isaac Johnson, his brother Spencer, of course, plays cricket for Australia, but we're 35 seconds in, CK, and the ball inside the centre square.
Spencer's brother doing okay at the moment, it's fair to say, as he lays a perfect tackle. Umpire circling. They all looked expectantly towards him, but he made the right call.
Isaac Johnson, a pretty good cricketer in his own right, CK. Played district cricket for West Torrens, a pretty handy bowler as well.
Very handy in both sports by the sounds of it. Frost in conditions that are highly unsuitable for him, you would say. But they have conceded the free.
Nothing like his namesake today.
Absolutely. The complete opposite, it's fair to say. Eagles looking for the switch. Morris in a 2-on-1 situation, and the one wins out. That's class. Absolute class there from Josh Morris. Now, he's got a couple breaking into space. Ferns is all by himself, about 30 metres away. And as if listening to the SANFL Now broadcast, Ned Stevens cruises towards him. Goes up towards the 25 mark, taking it. Is that going to be a free? Yeah, I must admit, I thought that he was just being nudged out of the contest there, was Krieger. Umpire agreeing. As he brings it inboard, where it's now taken by Searle, who has looked just a little bit rusty at times, but feeling his way through the contest. Looks to lay it inboard when Maguire comes up and meets it. He's had a good start.
He has indeed. So Maguire now, originally from Marul in New South Wales, played 55 NEFL games for the Canberra Demons. That kick, bit off more than he could chew for mine. I thought it was a mark in the end, just. Consultation between the two umpires. Sees Moline with it now at centre half back. The kick, no, wasn't great. Good work here from West Adelaide. They bring it to ground. Effort there was impressive from Jordan White. Flanking him on the outer side. The kick from Bramich looks for the skipper in Johnston. He'll want that left boot. He'll pop it towards the teeth of goal. Out the back, there's some numbers for the Bloods. They just need a crumb. Can they get boot to ball? They do. McCormack with a goal. So a good start there for West Adelaide, and a bit of reward for effort for the impressive Dylan McCormack. And the Bloods get their second. They go to 2-2-14. They trail the Eagles 5-4-34. 2.5 minutes gone in the first term, CK. And, well, McCormack, he's an impressive small forward, and he just managed to get toe poke on it and kick the goal.
Has kicked 2 of his 6 career goals against Woodville-West Torrens, so he doesn't mind it when he looks on the schedule and faces the Eagles. Who supports community footy in SA? Amy does. Tick Amy CTP on your renewal notice, and they will look after you every time. And as you mentioned, great reward for McCormack. Not big on stats, but was great in the 1%ers in that opening 27 minutes. So back in the centre, West Adelaide drawing first blood.
Pardon the pun.
Indeed. It was actually partially unintentional, but I'm happy to wear that one. So it's a real meaning of the old-fashioned ruckman here, isn't it? Redden and Bramich. I feel like I've gone back to 1976. Perfect bounce there from the umpire. Redden with the tap down. Comes smuggling out towards the sign or direction. Pokes it up towards half forward. No free In there, Newman twists and pirouettes his way through the situation, sends it up in towards that hot spot. Ballenden with beautiful delivery again, and he'll be lining up from 45 out straight in front.
Yeah, it was impressive from Will Newman. A few of the boys get around him, and nothing that one of the best defenders in the competition in Josh Ryan could do about that. The outstretched fingertips of the big Kiwi and Connor Ballenden lining up for goal number 2.
His 4th shot at goal today as well for the quick reply. So Connor Ballenden played state football as well in his journey. He crosses the 45, lays back on that. If you are a young man watching football, you could do a lot worse than watch Connor Ballenden kicks for goal for his second. 6-4-40, Woodville-West Torrens, West Adelaide 2-2-14.
Yeah, wonderful finish from a wonderful player, and he's such a presence up in attack. A big frame, big strong full forward that can go in the ruck. But Redden coming back this year really helps the Eagles have that prowess in attack, CK, and Ballenden kicks his second accordingly.
Absolutely, it does. And it's suddenly a very imposing forward line, isn't it, for the opposition to be looking at. And I just don't think Pat Weckett going down there deep in attack. He's another youngster who has showed plenty in attack in his time in the under-18s.
44 goals now on the SANFL career for Connor Ballenden. Got a Phil's fun fact about Connor Ballenden. His dad, Gavin, represented South Africa in rugby, and mum, Gail, has represented New Zealand in athletics. So, talented sports people run through the family. And speaking of talent, Frost with an impressive hand pass, gives it off to Sell. Flanking him now is one of the debutants in Krieger. Gets on the right boot, kicks towards half forward through the fingertips of Morris. Chance, though, for the Eagles to mop up now with Goldsworthy. Measured kick was a good one, and a strong mark there by Nichols. Hits the ground running, runs himself into a bit of trouble, but handball to Goldsworthy. Creative underground there to Deloyer, who's racking up disposals at will. He'll bring it to this broadcast side, where in some space is Roland. The kick looking for Knight. Outstretched fingertips for Riley. Goes back to Goldsworthy, the workhorse. That should be a free kick for legged. It is. And in front of your broadcast position, Phil Aspinall and Chris Kendall. The ball is with Matty Goldsworthy.
Almost a professional free, really, because Goldsworthy was away then, and that just allows West Adelaide to reset as he goes up towards centre-half forward. Redden was just drifting through the situation initially. West Adelaide player could have almost been taken high. Ryan works his way through the centre square. Now it's coming up towards Hamish Elam, who's got a 3-on-1 situation. Had it almost spent before he had it. Needs a bit of support. Does get it now from Johnson coming past. 30 out. Cruises through and punishes Woodville-West Torrens on the counter-attack. A fantastic goal from the skipper. 3-2-20. Woodville-West Torrens 6-4-40. Johnson finished, but Ellen will get rightful plaudits there, 3-on-1, and was able to win it in.
Yeah, perfectly called, CK. Summed it up brilliantly. And Ellen, well, he's taken his game to another level in the last couple of seasons. I saw his debut 3 years ago when he came over from the Swans Academy, and he was carrying some weight. He was wearing a high jumper number. He's advanced down to number 29, and as you said, won the 1-on-3, got it in board, and as I like to say, CK, the skipper kicked a ripper.
I did think of using that because I know you use it, but I don't like stealing other people's lines.
Your up-country mongrel punts are safe, CK.
You're not going on that journey of indecision?
No, definitely not. As we're back in the middle, and again, an entertaining contest. Bloods just stay in touch. 3-2-20. They trail the Eagles 6-4-40. 6.5 gone in this second term. As umpire Morgan with a delectable bounce. Hit out down there from Redden, but a clearance will go the way of the Bloods through Ryan. Got it to Sell. Here's the voice flanking him in Krieger. Coming through Maguire. Couldn't quite get it away cleanly. And again, Deloyer with another disposal. Throws it on the boot. Kicks to a 1-on-1. Rowe at the back. Couldn't take it. Good work there through the fingers of Jordan White. Follow up with a good second effort. And an impressive young man is Jordan White. Did well against the more experienced opponent in Jimmy Rowe. And he's forced the ball up between half forward right and the 50 arc, to which the Eagles are kicking down to that southern end. Bramich just bumps his opponent Redden off the footy. No mean feat. Overrunning it there was Mackay. And again, the umpire blows the whistle. He's found a free kick, and it'll be in the back. It's going to go the way of West Adelaide, and it'll be through the player in Sam Frost.
So Frost to take it. He just pulls the kick short and finds Krieger. Jimmy Rowe, 5 disposals today, but not in his usual influence, I don't feel. They've worn him well. Oscar Krieger also on debut after 18 reserves games last season. Sends it down centre wing. Plenty of numbers flying for it. Good strong mark drifting through there at the back.
You mentioned Rowe with the 9 disposals. I've been more impressed by Adam Deloyer, CK. 13 touches, 4 clearances, 2 inside 50s.
He really does make the ball talk, doesn't he? Had a fantastic trial game series there as well, it's fair to say. They're looking down here for Redden, who tapped it down and takes the mark. Just shows all of that experience and guile. Deposits Woodville-West Torrens in towards the pocket. Punch comes in over the top. Riley Knight lurking with intent at the fall of the ball. Handballs to the back there of Jimmy Rowe, who ran straight into the front of Jordan White. Twisting, turning, trying to come out now towards the Mackay direction. We know he's adept at the goal-kicking situation. Knocked through for a minor score, though. 6-5-41 Woodville-West Torrens. West Adelaide 3-2-20.
Riley Knight showing a little bit of class and composure there. A bit of fancy footwork. If he's fit and fully firing, he'll be a valuable acquisition for the Eagles this year. As I said earlier, just 5 games last year. As Moline will bring the ball back in. The boy from Leeton over in country New South Wales, but the kick's been intercepted by big Jordan Moore. He had an option lateral to him in Wecker. Ignores that. He's going to go looking inside 50 for Ballenden, but intercepted nicely by West Adelaide. Just overusing the footy on that occasion, the Eagles, and the Bloods were able to get back with some numbers. There's the kick partially smothered there. Good work by Nichols on the mark. Lodato in the end claimed it, but it was touched. Searle with some run off half back now. Breaks his way through the middle of Mornteen Keir Oval. The kick inside 50, a poor one. Chopped off beautifully there by Luke Thompson. And the Wangaratta helicopter pilot has taken the mark for the Eagles.
A couple of low percentage forward 50 entries there for West Adelaide. They're just blasting it forward without the runners in attack as Mackay goes back towards Thompson to return the favour. Luke Redfern is pleading for teammates to find an opponent, and he's right. There's a couple of Eagles running free. On the other hand, so is he. Rowland takes it 55 out from his defensive goal. Chip short to Newman.
And the Bloods have set up nicely here, CK. They're just corralling the Eagles in.
They have indeed. They're creating that loose. Sinor, how did he get that sort of space in that situation? Chips it over the top by hand now towards Morris. Takes a bounce. Thinking about a second. Elects to go deep in towards the pocket instead. Knocking it over by hand there is Cook for a throw-in. 35 around from the Eagles goal. They lead by 21 points. You're with Phil Aspinall and SANFL now at the 10-minute mark of the second term here on Good Friday SANFL.
And down the road at Prospect, the North Adelaide side have kicked 3 unanswered goals to take the lead by 1 point halfway through the third term. The Crows coming back at Noarlunga, but it's still the Panthers by 26 points. Back here at Woodville, hit out down from Elam to Kobe Ryan. The whistle's gone. It's a free kick to the Powerade Star Search winner from last season. Kobe Ryan goes in short, spots up a target now, finds one of the debutants there in Hyam. So Hyam now, he's got a teammate flanking him on that outer side. West Adelaide just overusing the footy. Newman did well to intercept. He is outnumbered 2-on-1. The boundary line beckons and wins out. That's probably just the difference between your classier sides, rather, CK. That last-minute skill execution just lacked for the Bloods.
Couple of youngsters in defence too that are still feeling their way in league football and each other's nuances there, I reckon. But you're quite right. Throw in. Cook and Elam to go at it. Slightly shallow throw in there from the umpire. Elam did get the tap down. Bloods looking to work their way through the situation. It's going to be a last touch as Herbert to bring it in. So, Cade Herbert, man with 2 first names, works Woodville-West Torrens for another forward 50 entry. Elam just drifting through and taking the grab. My apologies. As he goes sideways. Oh dear, not the finest of moments. They're going to be punished on the counter-attack here, are they? Litster makes them pay. Fantastic finish from Litster for his first SANFL goal too after 31 matches. And Woodville-West Torrens 7-5-47, West Adelaide 3-2-20.
Just as we summed up, CK, the Bloods just inexperienced down in defence, overusing the footy. Hamish Elam will be tough on himself there because he knows he's a better user of the footy. Missed the target, and as you called beautifully, Litster just intercepted nicely and snapped truly for his first. Many say unlucky not to be in the AFL this year. He trained all pre-season with the Fremantle Dockers and was just looking for that supplementary spot with a couple of injured players and wasn't able to do so, and in the end that's Fremantle's loss, no doubt, as the Eagles gain. Absolutely, and I must say Fremantle must be very hard marked if they can't find a spot for him. There's certainly a place there. So the Eagles just continue to keep West Adelaide at arm's length. 27-point buffer in favour of the home team. 12 minutes gone in this second term. Phil Aspinall, Chris Kendall, your SANFL Now commentary team. As the ball's back in the middle, umpire prepares to bang it into the cricket wicket area. That bounce favoured Ballenden on the hit out down, but coming through Ryan for the Bloods. Gets a hand pass out to Frost. The boy from Queanbeyan goes to that outer side wing, looking for a target, hard up against the line. Sindenberry with some pressure from Morris, and over it goes for a boundary throw-in. Apologies, Morris rather. There's true centre wing on that outer side. A picture-perfect Good Friday here in Adelaide. SANFL footy, round 1, 2024, host plus season. It's Ballenden against Elam. Ballenden won it down, but again Ryan takes it away, lowers the eyes, looks for a pass. Roland first to the footy, gives it back to Goldsworthy. Attempted creative hand pass underground, missed the target. Just going to ground there for the Bloods was Morris. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Comes out now for a youngster in white. He'll lower the eyes, looking bored, but a terrible kick. Chopped off nicely here by the Eagles, and Herbert has it for Woodville-West Torrens.
So Herbert decides to keep it again on the outer side, where Ballenden at the moment, he's just seeing it like an earth ball with this sort of delivery all around the ground. Goes further down to Synort. Hold 5 of the possible 6 McGarry medal votes in the last 2 matches these teams have played. Goes in towards the 50. Cook gets it off by hand. Twisting, turning, looking for that perfect finish. That is an outstanding goal there for Woodville-West Torrens. And I reckon that may possibly be Litster again. No, it's Pat Weckett, my apologies. So Pat Weckett has nailed that one out to a game-high 33-point margin. They are 8-5-53, West Adelaide 3-2-20.
Yeah, for everything West Adelaide do, they go forward. They just can't quite find the target, and like in the blink of an eye, Woodville-West Torrens have managed to go down and kick their 8th goal rather. So 33-point game-high lead in favour of the home team. First-year coach Sam Jacobs will be thinking this league coaching caper is pretty easy, CK.
Absolutely. And he's showing a very attacking brand of football, I think, too, at the moment, PA. They just seem to just be running and gunning more than anything else. Get the ball on quickly, move it in towards the forward 50. Can be prone to pressure when they get some of the bigger teams, but at the moment it's paying off dividends.
It is indeed. As we're back underway, decisive hit out down from Ballenden, but Searle will take it for West Adelaide. He'll go on the non-preferred left, kick towards the skipper in Johnson. He'll get on his preferred left, go inside 50. Lodato tracking back, takes a nice mark. 48 metres out from goal, left forward pocket down at the northern or clubroom end. And the kick, well, that sums up Westie's quarter so far. Couldn't quite find the target. Well done there by Litster. Gives it back now, and Williams will clear from defensive 50. Looking for a one-on-one. Nichols flies early. Well done by Searle. Fisted over the line. Apologies, it was actually Hyam. And it will be a boundary throw-in. And apologies there. Just want a correction with one of my comments I made earlier about Max Lister training with the Fremantle Dockers. It was actually young Beattie, Max Beattie I think it was, that was playing training with them. So apologies there to Mr. Beattie. As back in board the play comes. Good work here from Knight. Gets it to Deloyer. Handball's back to the voice. Ballenden will look to square it up in board. He'll kick down the line. Overrunning it there. Williams couldn't quite take it. The debutant, though, stayed in the contest. Weckett was impressive. Gives it back to Deloyer, and now they're away.
They are. He's been very industrious so far in this game as they get another repeat forward 50 stoppage. The ball just comes spinning out now towards Nichols. Had a couple of options breaking for him. Pokes it in towards the pocket. Arriving there is Buck. Was he taken high? Umpire's prepared to let that one go for a throw-in. So 60 out from the Woodville-West Torrens goal. Game-high lead of 33 points at the moment for the Eagles. May I remind folks, pre-game, one person in this team tipped each team. It was not me who tipped the Eagles. Throw in. As PA just chalks up his first win of the day. Throw in. Long time to go in this contest, mind you. I've seen a lot of stranger things happen as another contested situation reaches its inevitable conclusion. Mackay, 55 out. Ballenden tapped down to Deloyer. Goldsworthy. Gee, that was a beautiful underground handball towards Riley Knight, who has another forward 50 entry, and drifting through, taking a really strong mark there is Cook. That was fantastic, PA. He had his name written all over that from a number of metres out.
Yeah, it was a great contested mark by the talented youngster. Made his debut last year against Glenelg, a team that he spent a little bit of time with as a junior, and needs to go back and kick, truly does Lucas Cook. But seen a bit of him over the last couple of years at reserves level, knows where the goals are, CK.
Picked up 4 disposals in his SANFL debut match. Looking for his first goal at this level. Oh, that's going a long, long way to the right. Slips through for a minor score, but that game-high margin balloons again to 34 points. 8-6-54, West Adelaide 3-2-20.
Give a guy a rap and he lets you down, of course. The commentator's curse.
You think we'd know by now after all the years we've been doing this?
Lucas Cook kicked 26 goals at reserves level last year. As Moline brings the ball in. Bit off more than he could chew with the kick in. Deloyer and the skipper in Sinor could raffle it. Good work in the end, though, from Searle. Went and won the footy. Gives it to Morris. Chip short. That one went about 7 metres, in my opinion, but the umpire said it was a completed mark, as Elam has it now at centre-half back. He'll bring it laterally to find Hyam. He's won a few possessions in the last few minutes, the debutant Finn. That kick wasn't great. Chopped off beautifully by Goldsworthy. Handballs over the top again to Deloya, getting involved. Mackay, the debutant rather, just overuses the footy. Bit of an aerial ping pong at the moment, and the whistle's gone as the umpires found a free kick. And just a bit of composure there from the young man in Kobe Ryan, just saying, let's slow things down. We've gone 18 minutes in this second term. 54 plays 20 in favour of the home team. As the kick just found the target there. I thought Goldsworthy might have touched it, but it's Searle. He's marked and he's away.
So Searle up towards half forward. Punch comes in over the top. Just slipped through the fingers there of Ned Stevens. They can get another repeat forward 50 stoppage here. Krieger. Is that going to bounce through? Oh. Yes, it is. What a way to get your first SANFL goal on debut. And they're getting around the young man, so they stood in the grandstand. Rightly applauds that one. 4-2-26 West Adelaide. Woodville-West Torrens 8-6-54.
Don't think that was his intention, CK. I reckon he just wanted to pop it to the dangerous spot at the top of the goal square. But the breeze carried it a little bit and over the line it went. And a goal to remember on debut for Oscar Krieger, 19-year-old, originally from Berry up in the Bloods heartland of the Riverland. And the SA Under-18s representative back in 2022 kicks his first goal at league level.
If I was Adam Hartley, PA, the one thing I reckon I'd say to the team at half-time, stop looking for Kobe Ryan with everything.
Yeah.
They got the finish there, but you can see they're looking for Kobe Ryan at every single stoppage.
Yep.
They need to try and find some other players to bob up, and some of the more senior players, I think, need to try and take that mantle from the young man.
Yeah, I tend to agree. As the ball back in the middle, just about to tick into time on here at Montane Kia Oval. Round one of the 2024 Host Plus SANFL season. Bramich just won the hit out down, but work there from Redden was good. Squeezed a hand pass out. Sinor, the skipper, maybe caught one up the front. There was a high, nothing doing, said the umpire. A chance for back-to-back goals for the Bloods. Frost from outside 50. Has he got ice in his veins? He does! Back-to-back goals for the Bloods. West Adelaide get their fifth. 5-2-32. Here come the Bloods. The Eagles 8-6-54, 20 minutes gone, and that was impressive footy from West Adelaide, CK.
Just really good, composed football more than anything else. They didn't panic. They waited for the situations to open up, find the loose player there. Frost with a fantastic finish there with only his fourth SANFL goal. Averaging a tick under 20 disposals in 2023 when he was on the park. You can see his class is going to be vital. Yeah,
former Allies Under-18s captain as well. He played 23 VFL games for the GWS side, and as we touched on, injured a fair bit last year, only played 6 games. He'll be vital to West Adelaide's improvement this year.
And it's the first time they get consecutive goals here too, the Bloods. Redden tapped down to Deloya. Gee, he is racking up the pill at the moment, Deloya. They come out towards this grandstand side, getting the benefit of a beautiful bounce. There was Knight, but coughed that one up straight away in towards the Jordan White direction. West Adelaide got a bit of a spring in their step at the moment. Moline pulled the kick at the last minute cleverly, where he spots it up towards Frost. And that's going to be 25, is it? No, just calling the player back on the mark. As we can see the Sonic sign going up there on the bench. Sonic the Hedgehog. I wonder what that means. It is actually a free further up the lines.
My son Ruben would love that.
As would my kids as well, but I suppose we're not here to be getting things entirely for our children. Nice side benefit if it happens. Brady Searle. You see Adam Hartlett's just barking instructions on the bench to hurry the ball up. Johnson. Now, this is where it's starting to break down because Woodville-West Torrens have dropped so many numbers back. He has got one breaking on the opposite wing. Hasn't seen that. Goes in towards the pocket. Punch comes down. Morris twists, turns, has a ping from the pocket. Oh, he couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he couldn't. Oh, yes, he could, Tommy Morris. That is outstanding football for his first 3 consecutive goals for West Adelaide. They've breathed life right back into this contest now for a 16-point margin.
What a fantastic finish and beautifully called, CK. There's a pulse for the Bloods. West Adelaide are charging. They're back in this contest, as we said. 38 plays 54. But Morris, no stranger to kicking goals. He won a Sunraysia goal-kicking medal a few years ago, kicking 48 for Owens United. But that was class with a capital C, Chris.
He barely had time to even look at the goals, much less see the angle on that. We've got an early contender for the SANFL goal of the year, I'd say.
And the one thing that I think for mine, I actually had the binoculars up on the play. He looked in board. He wasn't selfish. He didn't want to kick the goal off the first cuff. He actually did see if there was a teammate in a better spot. There wasn't. He went to work and class prevailed. So all of a sudden, game back on here at Woodville, Montane Kia Oval. The Bloods with momentum. They've kicked the last 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. Bramich will face off against the big man Redden. Redden won this one down. Chance for Riley Knight, taken in a strong tackle there by Frost, but got the hand pass away. The Bloods, though, they're working with numbers. Good work in there from Sindenberry. Spills out for Ryan. Kobe Variety goes inside 50. Is this 4 on the trot? You bet your boots! Ryan with a first. A wonderful finish, and the Bloods go to 7-2-44. 10-point differential. The Eagles 8-6-54. There must be something about that Northern NCK because there's plenty of goals on offer down there.
Isn't it amazing when a team just starts believing all of a sudden? They were looking dead and buried when it was out to a game-high 34-point margin, and suddenly, as you rightly mentioned, in 5 minutes, 4 goals.
And in correction there, Kobe Ryan kicked 2 now, of course, 1 in the first, and that wonderful running goal just now.
And here was Seiko saying, don't look for Kobe Ryan at every opportunity. Well, at the moment, he's looked up to the box and said, Seiko, this is why we do. What a sublime finish. The second multiple goal scorer on the ground.
I think I know now why you tipped them, Seiko.
Sam Jacobs, he was thinking how nice league football coaching was 6 minutes ago. But there's still loads of juice left in this half. Tap down. Straight into the lap of Riley Knight, who works it further down the lines. Hyam just nudged his opponent cleverly out of it. Working out towards the outer side. Maguire was at the fall of the contest. Woodville-West Torrens now working away through the stoppage. Up in towards the attacking zone. Is that going to be a free to Cook? No, it's going to go to West Adelaide through Patton. Clever work from the young man.
Cook just a little overzealous and made contact over the shoulder, Chris.
As that Sonic sign is still up down there on the bench. We're going to find out the meaning of that one there because I'm very curious about it now. As they're working up towards the outer side now through Frost.
Well, Sonic, we get the back of the sign. There might be another logo or another kid's cartoon on the other side of the logo, CK, but Paul Streetfield, the SANFL West Adelaide footy manager, holding that one up at the moment.
The mind boggles now as to what could be on the other side of it. As it slips through fingers, Morrish. Working it out towards that outer side again. McCormick kept his feet when all around there's lost theirs. He's going to have to go back in there and support now. Chips it over the top. Lodato 55 out. Goes up. That's going to be paid down the ground. Is that going to be paid down the ground to West Adelaide?
Well, nonetheless, it was marked by Sindenberry out the back of the contest. So if it is downfield, the resulting free kick and or mark is to Jai Sindenberry just on the corner of the square.
He's only kicked the one SANFL goal so far in his 26 matches. I'd say, although it's not quite half-time, he's had few more important opportunities. Deloy coming to the bench for a very well-earned rest, but going onto the arena.
I've written it in the book, CK. I've got liquid paper, but I hope not to have to use it.
Oh, we've been doing this job for more than long enough to know to do that, young Phil. But anyway, Sinderberry. They're back within 4 points.
Wow.
They are back within 4 points, West Adelaide. Going back again, 8 minutes ago, they were 34 points down, and they are now on the edge of half-time, possibly staring at the lead.
And it is the scoring end, as we touched on, Chris. We look at the flags just behind the northern goals, and there's probably only a 3-goal breeze, maybe 2 blowing to that end. And, well, that was a fantastic run of play for West Adelaide. And as you said, 5 goals in succession now, their 7th individual goal kicker. As I reckon we've seen the flip side of that sign, Chris. It looks like a wolf. So Westie's doing West Adelaide type things, and now I think there must be the Sonic sign facing forward. I love the modern day team communication with these signs that you see.
I guess if they held up a sign with blood, it doesn't really quite send the right message, does it?
It doesn't, no indeed. As we're back underway, Redden up against Brammick. Redden won this one down, taken in a team tackle night. One of the tacklers went high, and Riley Knight, the boy from South Clare, won himself a free kick. Knight now goes to the broadcast side half-forward flank, marked by Sinor. The man from Henley, off the right boot, pops it inside the attacking forward 50. They need a mark to the Eagles. Flying, keeping his feet though. Well done with a snap-on goal from Cook. Just tried to hack it off the ground, but a minor score the result. So as we near half-time, 26.5 gone. It's the Eagles, 8-7-55. They're leading the Bloods, 8-2-50. Westies have kicked the last 5 on the trot.
And that's the Eagles' first score in just over 9 minutes. As West to bring it out from the kick-in. Working towards the front there was Ned Stevens. Underground handball searched for and found Redfern. Has that gone the requisite journey? Players didn't seem to think so, as bundled over the boundary line is Searle for a throw-in. There'll be a bit of time left in this contest too. We've had 10 goals kicked in it. 27 gone. Throw-in. Ruck's ready to resume hostilities. Redden and Bramich, a real hush has come over this arena. Redden stayed down as Bramich went up. Handball isolated and found Sinor. Now it's with Williams, who just pokes it in towards the pocket. There was a speculative sort of kick there at best. Boundary line wins out, and it's going to be a throw-in. 35 out from the Eagles' goal. Currently leading by 5 points, 27.5 gone. You're with Phil Aspinall on SANFL now.
Bloods with all the momentum, as we said. 5 goals on the trot. They're right back in this contest. A margin of just 5 points. Veteran SANFL umpire Sam Royans, 271st game, throws the ball back into play. Ballenden down to the skipper in Sinor, taken by 3 West Adelaide players. And field umpire Sam Morgan says it'll be my ball. So 45 metres out from the Eagles' goal. They'd love to get one just to stem the flow from West Adelaide's momentum. Well done there by McCormack. Just throws it on the boot for a second attempt. It's hard up against the line. Clever work there in the art of Ned Stevens. Just using the line to spin out of trouble, and over it goes for a boundary throw-in again.
Deloyer off the ground for about 5.5 minutes now.
Yeah, good observation. He was critical through the midfield area where the Eagles were getting first hand on the ball. No surprise that the Bloods taking advantage while he's not out there. So Redden does well. Beautifully down to Sinor. Off the left boot, the non-preferred. A high ball inside 50. Good spoil there from Ryan for West Adelaide. Johnson should be first to the ball. Goldsworthy applies some good body pressure. Patton in there for the Eagles, as is Thackeray. And over the footy. Apologies, not Thackeray. He's one of the emergencies that missed out. Looked like it was Sindenberry down there. Minchella it was indeed. As a ball up at the top of the square for the Eagles here. Ballenden jumps early, tries to take it on the second attempt. Newman in there wrapped up in a tackle, going nowhere. We'll have a ball up at the top of the square. We've travelled 29 minutes. It's a 5-point ball game to the home side.
Where they are currently deep in attack, top of the square. Tap down. Is that going to be rushed through for a minor score? Yes, it is. So it's an even 1-goal margin at the moment, after Cooks had the last 2 scoring shots for Woodville-West Torrens. Will Patton. We know he's got a raking left foot on him. And that's going to be 25. Gee whiz. Now that suddenly makes it a really interesting situation, because he was going to be no trouble exiting the 50 initially. Ballenden looks to have conceded the 25. Now Patton, 40 out from his defensive goal, just lays it off inboard to Bramich, who's had a pretty good first half. Redfern calling for it short. Ryan sideways. Looking for the uncontested 30 to 45 seconds I often talk about. Just a reset. Just keep the ball in their hands. If you've got it, the opposition don't. Very simple football adage. Ryan indicating he's going to work it out towards your broadcast position of Chris Kendall and Phil Aspinall. Well worked at the back there by Elam. He's had some really good moments today. Wants to go long. Lodato up towards centre half forward. Joel Stevens up there now as well. As it works in lines, Morris almost able to get it down, couldn't get the final purchase on it. Morris lays the tackle. We're going to have a ball up. 55 out from the West goal. Woodville-West Torrens leading by 6 points at the moment, 30 gone. There can't be too much more time left of the team.
Plenty of goals kicked, as you said, so a little bit of time on, but we are on the cusp of the main break. The Eagles do well with chain of handballs. It ends with Williams. Kick down the line is a good one, and presenting nicely on the lead is Lucas Cook.
Nobody in the Eagles forward 50 at all.
The young boy from Lockleys originally. Spent some time with the Henley Sharks, a breeding ground or a football factory for Woodville-West Torrens are the Henley Sharks. As the Cook kicked down the line, debutant Williams flew early, couldn't quite take it. Stacks on the mill at the bottom of the pack. Umpire says it'll be a ball up. Will Newman just picks himself up with the support of a teammate in Herbert. Umpire Packard in game number 8. Throws the ball up. Bramich won it down into some space. Overrunning it, Herbert. Comes back out nicely for Rowe. Been reasonably quiet. Flying early there was Knight. Kept his feet against Sell. Flicked it back to the captain, Joe Sinor. 2-time best and fairest. 2-time premiership player. The kick in board. Johnson dropped what it should have taken. Opportunity for Buck. Here's the voice of a teammate. Herbert with a snap. Herbert with a kick. Herbert with a goal. Breaks the run of goals from West Adelaide. Herbert gets his first. 9-8-62 the Eagles. West Adelaide, they're 8-2-50. And that was a quality snap-on goal by a talented young man on the rise, CK.
Most certainly was. For only his 4th SANFL goal. Averaged 14 disposals last season and uses the ball very, very well as a rule and finishes off there really nicely. A
bit of a steadier as well for the Eagles. Of course, Westies with all the momentum. And I think Adam Hartley will be pretty annoyed with that, because obviously it just pegs one back from the difference they were trying to make with 5 consecutive goals, but a good finish nonetheless from Kate Herbert.
Yeah, absolutely. That settler that Sam Jacobs would really have been looking for. So now West Adelaide will just be looking to try and lock it in here on the cusp of half-time. As we're back in the centre, it's going to be recalled. Much to the disappointment of Jared Redden, who had already hooked it off by hands to Williams. So Elam and Redden to go at it. Latter gets the tap down, but it's straight into the path there of Searle. He just works his way through the centre, pops it up and towards the half-forward line. Numbers here, Redfern loops it over the top. Oh, Morris, he couldn't do it again. Could he? No. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Minor score. 9 goals, 8.62. Woodville-West Torrens. West Adelaide, 8.351.
He's normally pretty good on both sides of the body. The non-preferred left there just couldn't quite bring it back. The ball's inside the Bloods forward 50 as Beacon brings the kick out. As the siren sounds as the ball's mid-air. That second term went 33 minutes and 12 seconds. And an entertaining quarter of footy. Half-time, 9-8-62 the Eagles. The Bloods of West Adelaide, 8-3-51. An 11-point deficit in favour of the home team.
Moves the ball off as Woodville-West Torrens move into the Woodville jumpers for the second half. Your first caller, Phil Aspinall.
Great look back to the club's history. A wonderful competitive football club they've been as the umpire bounces it down, favours Redden, down to Riley Knight, just pile-drived in a Frost tackle. Knight might be slow to get up and Frost has hurt the shoulder. So CK, keep your eye on the bodywork and collision back in the middle of the play as it's Ferns who gives it to Goldsworthy. Down behind play still is Knight as Frost gets a possession with a dislocated shoulder. Knight still on his back in the middle centre circle as the Eagles go to half forward, rather the Bloods, and it's intercepted there by Moore. The kick long down the line, a fly there from Nichols, crumbed beautifully by Williams. The hand pass wasn't great. Opportunity here for Rowe to get the handball out, looking for Weckett off the non-preferred left. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Down there, Bellenden, Newman as well. Traced down from behind by Patton. Newman did well, got it back to a teammate. Going one way, then the other, the snap, the kick, the goal. Buck bobs up and kicks truly. Wants to give a little bit of afters to his opponent, but the goal for the Eagles is the first of the second half. 10-8-68 Woodville-West Torrens. The Bloods 8-3-51. And something out of nothing there for Zach Buck, Chris Kendall.
Absolutely. That was a great finish there from Buck. Sam Frost, as you mentioned there, got a second possession inadvertently in that passage of play. He's gone straight down to the rooms. Riley Knight is in all sorts of trouble at the moment behind the scenes, and they're just all getting around to make sure that everything's okay. Umpire, the trainers did try and get him off at the moment, but, seriously, I don't think there was any much luck with that one.
He's a tough nut, is Riley, and he's just moving the shoulders around the solar plexus. I reckon he'll be catching his breath back for the rest of the week.
Most certainly. So West Adelaide temporarily at least down to one less on the bench. As Redden just takes it straight out of the air. Searle goes in chasing after it. Bramich goes on hands and knees. Was he taken high? I don't think there was too much doubt upon that one. Umpire agreed. Deloyer tried to convince the umpire otherwise, but it was a very forlorn plea. Bramich just pulled the kick there at the last minute. That was a clever option. I look to now bring it back inboard where it comes to Jordan White. Patton is calling for it short. Kobe Ryan's in there also. So now they have got the switch on here. Williams is all by himself here on this grandstand side, but the West Adelaide go into attack. Ball just sitting up at the back here. Roland's going to try and knock that over for a minor score. So 8-4-52 West Adelaide, trailing Woodville-West Torrens by 16 points. 10-8-68.
Tight contest on our hand. You mentioned the intro. It was a tight one last year when these two sides met in round 18. A kick after the siren for West Adelaide to win the game. And Bloods have the footy at half forward now, trying to just hold the ball in. The Eagles do well to repel as Bramich has a change in ruck and heads down to full forward. And it'll be Elam who'll compete in the ruck against the bigger-bodied opponent in Redden. Ball at ground level in dispute. Johnson, the captain of the Bloods, comes bursting through. He was taken in a strong tackle by Riley Knight, shaken off his ailment. Unfortunately for Sam Frost, it looks like that might be a serious shoulder injury and just can't take a trick in his first 3 years in the SANFL. Only the 5 games last year due to injury. There's ball in contention again. The umpire out the back of the contest will ball it up and say it's my footy. So we've travelled 3 minutes in this third term. It's 10-8-68 the Eagles, the Bloods 8-4-52.
Redden, a decisive not forward, but it's into the direction of Moline, if anything. Just eyes only for the ball to create a stoppage. So, Woodville-West Torrens played a very clinical brand of football for that opening 45 minutes, and the young Bloods were able to work their way through that, hold their nerve, and get it back to 4 points briefly, another stoppage. And now we're going to learn a lot about the young West Adelaide team in this second half. Umpire with a third ball up. Redden did get a tap forward. Play taken high there, not too much doubt about that one. Untidy from Maguire. As Riley Knight's starting to wonder what he's done to deserve all this in the opening 3 or 4 minutes of this term. Sends Woodville-West Torrens in towards attack. Punch comes down. Patton at the fall. The ball wraps up Buck, who's wrapped up in turn by another young buck in Kobe Ryan. Ball up, 40 out from the Eagles' goal. They lead by 17.
Battle of the Bucks. There's the ball inside, attacking 50 for Woodville-West Torrens. Umpire ready. Get proceedings back underway. Ballenden hits it out in some space. Looked like a set play looking for Rowe. Coming through, though, with the intercept. Taken high in a tackle, I thought, but nothing doing, said the umpire. Good work by the debutant in Krieger. Jumping early. One hit out down did Elam, but taken there by Sinor. He'll kick inside 50. Parsley smothered. Patton just couldn't take it cleanly. Kobe Ryan wrapped up by 2 Eagles players. We'll have yet another ball up. Underneath the traditional scoreboard here at Montine Kia Oval, we've got the digital one as well. The time clock on that shows we're about to tick into the 5-minute mark. It's Ballenden beautifully down to Sinor. Right forward pocket under some pressure. Was he dispossessed? Did he get a boot to it? No, holding the ball. And the resulting free kick will go the way of the Bloods, Chris, through Jordan White.
So White, I'll look to keep it on that outer side, you would suggest. Up towards centre wing. Strong mark taken there by Morris, who had a highlights-filled first half.
Indeed.
Morris, nothing's really opening up for conviction for him, so he's going to be forced to deposit it longish to a contested situation. Just drifting through there, Bramich, a little bit too hot for Elam, who twists and turns his way to the situation. Heard the voice cruising past of Moline. Sends West Adelaide again in towards attack. That was good, patient football there by West Adelaide. There was that fumble early on, but they managed to right the situation, and now McCormick will be lining up for his second. Yeah,
and I reckon that's the old West Adelaide that would have really turned the footy over in that situation. Just some belief in their ability, working for each other. Yes, the handball wasn't great by the big fella in Krieger, I think it was, but in the end, Moline comes through, finds the target, and he's a classy ball user, comes off for a spell now, and the player in Dylan McCormick lining up for a second.
So McCormick crosses the 50, normally a beautiful finisher of the ball. Needs to start this very slightly right to left, I reckon. And that is coming back beautifully for his second for Dylan McCormick. 3 of his 7 career goals have been against Woodville-West Torrens. Doesn't mind playing them. 9 goals for 58 West Adelaide. Eagles at 10-8-68. Who supports community footy in SA? Amy does, with McCormick second. Yeah,
he caught it beautifully, CK. You told him just to start it at that right post. It worked back slightly on the breeze, straight through the high diddle-diddle, as a great colleague and former colleague and great friend, Dennis D.B. Brown, would have said. So a good chance. Made the most of the opportunities there by the player in McCormick. One of only a few players that you see running around at league level, father-son. We said earlier his dad Simon played a handful of about 100 games, I think it was, and won a best and fairest at the Bloods in 2008. But still, game on. 10-point differential, favour the home side. 10-8-68 the Eagles, 9-4-58 the Bloods, and they're going to go forward now. Well done by the play there in Maguire. Got it out to Ryan. The kick to that outer side. An early fly from Patton. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. In fact, it was Krieger rather, and the fist over the boundary line. We'll see the ball be prepared to throw back into play. Pretty healthy crowd here at Montine Kia Oval. The hill to our right, pretty well filled. Both grandstands in good working order with patrons up there, and plenty behind the goals at the northern end. We'll tick on 2,500 at a guess. So ball back into play. Brammick in the ruck against the big man Redden. Neither ruckman decisively down. Coming through Searle. Then a toe poke from Brammick was to the advantage of an opponent. Deloyer got it there from a teammate in Beaker. And Beacon, rather, he gets it back in the 1-2. He'll go inside attacking 50. A chance here for the Eagles. And loose checking again from the Bloods. Deja vu from the first quarter, CK. Matty Goldsworthy in a world of space. And he's taken the mark 40 metres out directly in front.
And the player is in the second half of his career, no question about that, but you can't leave someone with that sort of experience all by himself there. 245th game, Matty Goldsworthy lining up for his 197th goal.
Kicked one earlier in the contest in that first term. Like a nice bottle of red wine, CK. Just seems to get better with age, does Matty Goldsworthy.
Well, there's an idea for tonight.
Had a chat with him at the season launch earlier in the week. The kick looks pretty good, but the old goal umpire has to move a little to her right. Goal umpire Emily Hill there signals a behind, so wasted opportunity there for Woodville-West Torrens. They go to 10-9-69. The Bloods 9-4-58, 8.5 gone, third term.
Will Patton to bring it back in. Have really liked his debut game. Very precise user of the ball ordinarily, but he must have liked what he saw with Goldsworthy the first time, because he picked him out a second. Goldsworthy, well smothered. Well, that was over the boundary line anyway already. Either way, it's going to be a throw-in.
It was a good individual effort from Lachlan Williams, who's looked pretty comfortable at league level on debut. CK took that wonderful contested mark in front of us in the first term, but he hasn't looked out of place.
Most certainly not. Throw-in. The ruck's going at it. Slightly shallow throw in. Favoured Ballenden, if anything. Numbers at the front of the ball. Rowe travelling through. Been well down on his normal output today. West Adelaide, that's an errant disposal. Lets them go straight out in the full. And the man to bring it back in for disposal number 19 will be Adam Deloyer.
So Deloyer.
20, I should say.
Looking for some options. Opens up the goal face. Kicks it to Congestion. Almost a mark there to Weckett. Running it there was the debutant in Williams. A chance here at ground level for Nichols. Can't quite extract the footy. Stacks on the mill will have a ball up. The Crows are coming at the Panthers. CK down at Noarlunga, 67-71, and the Bulldogs are keeping North Adelaide at arm's reach. 21 points up in the dying stages of that contest, but back here at Woodville, quick kick out of Congestion there from Mackay. Scramble on in the defensive goal square. Good smother there by Sinor. Then he's claiming holding the ball. Is he going to get it? Umpire's hovering. Ball squirts out of the pack. The whistle's gone. It's a throw, and it looks like it's going to be a free kick going the way of the Bloods. It'll go to Tom Morrish.
So Morrish, he's got a very long option on the outer side, but he's going to have to bring it in grandstand side. He can't kick it 90 metres. Comes out there with the only player who really went through was Litster. So Litster just chips it sideways. Spots up the loose option in the pocket.
That was Max Litster, who didn't do a pre-season with Fremantle, Chris.
He might have. We just might not know about it. Mackay. 60 out. Distance won't be a trouble for him. I tell you what. Distance is no trouble for this young man. The Naranda pub is going off as he kicks his second. And just give some breathing space now to Woodville-West Torrens. 11-9-75. West Adelaide 9-4-50. I wish I could put a lot of numbers like that.
That was an amazing kick, wasn't it? He's been impressive. The mature age recruit comes over from country New South Wales. The 27-year-old Luke Mackay. And he caught it beautifully in the shadows of the grandstand to begin with, and then kicks it from 55 metres. It sails through goalpost height. And a second goal kick there for Luke Mackay. 3 consecutive best and fairest. He won at Naranda, so the boy can play, that's for sure.
He'll be high up in the Eagles town, I'd say, already at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. 75 plays 58, 11.5 gone in this third quarter. Round 1, 2024, host plus action. Another game to come tonight as well. It'll be Paul Bonza and young Patrick Goldsmith calling the game between the reigning premiers and their old rivals Port Adelaide. As Ballenden won the hit out down, Sinor was taken immediately. And a dual tackle there with Frost. So good to see Frost back out, CK. Sam Frost probably got a bit of an injection in that shoulder. It's heavily strapped, the right one at the moment. As take 2 from the stoppage. Ballenden won it down to the aforementioned Frost, who was taken when not in possession. And Jimmy Rowe, former Crow, saying thought he was a little bit aggrieved by that. The kick was a good one to half forward. Morris wanting a high tackle contact. Nothing doing, said the umpire. Zane Williams with a good spoil. So the ball will be tossed back into play. Right forward pocket, right half forward flank rather. Southwestern pocket here at Montane Keir Oval. Sean Burton, the boundary umpire there. Normally does the AFL games, having a week back with the SANFL. It's his 201st game. Throws it in. Ballenden front position, but the whistle's gone. It'll be a free kick for hanging on. It's going to go the way of Joe Sinor, the captain of the Eagles.
So Sinor, who just lays it in further down the lines in the Newman direction. Tunnelled it backwards almost out of Mackay. Ball's just bobbling around in here like a pinball at the moment. Ball up. Joey Sinor, 2 votes round 7, 3 votes round 18 last season. And Jimmy Rowe got the 3 votes in round 7 and the 2 votes in round 18 there. I'm not sure if either relate to their tally today. They've been industrious without being spectacular. Speaking of spectacular, Kobe Ryan drifts through the moment. Goes up in towards the top of the 50. Coming out now to meet it there is Morris, certainly being held there. Mind you, we let the entire grandstand and the immediate suburb of Woodville know about it too. So now this is actually not beyond Tommy Morris. There's no real breeze to speak of. He thinks it's beyond him. Wise decision. Poked it in towards the pocket, waiting for an option to open up. And looks to be Redfern. He'll be lining up. Matter of fact, it is Mitch Maguire. So he'll be lining up on a slight angle. Started the game in a blaze of glory. Averages 16 disposals against the Eagles. He's only kicked the 17 SANFL goals in his time though. 45 out. Crowd's hushed. And they are going to remain relatively hushed, are they? No, it's being fumbled and bumbled around in there. Tackle being laid. Ball up, top of the goal square now for Woodville-West Torrens. For West Adelaide, I should say. So the defenders The Eagles will be right on their mettle. Ballenden taps down Ladate. Did he work that one through? Was it touched on the line? Minor score, premature evaluation, CK 9.5.59. That's the first one for 2024. West Adelaide 11.9.75.
It was almost a nice snap-on goal there from Ladate, but fisted through for that rush behind as the Eagles bring it to this broadcast side. And Jack Ferns, the man from the Seaton Ramblers, kicks long down the line after taking the mark. Weckett did well with the body out, positioned his opponent, Josh Ryan. That's no mean feat. And then a nice little chipping ball over the top, looking for Goldsworthy. How will it sit? The veteran, clever to tap it forward to Pearce. It didn't quite sit for him. Over the top, Newman there as well, coming through nicely though. The Bloods are able to repel from half back. Ryan with a questionable disposal, could have been in the back. Johnson then taken immediately in a tackle by young Herbert. And Westies player down behind play, clutching at the knee, I think. Looks like to be the debutant in Lachlan Williams.
I'm wondering if it's actually cramped just the way he's holding. I'm happy to stand corrected.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Chris, as he's trying to hobble himself off to the boundary line as Weckett competes in the ruck. Should be a free kick for a high contact over the sore shoulder of Sam Frost, and the former GWS Academy player.
Turn around, young Williams.
He's taken the free kick, defensive 50. He was almost going to be in the play. The Frost kick to a contest. Thompson, the veteran, did well for the Eagles, but dropped what he should have taken. Coming in, Stevens, Joel Variety in there as well, was brother Ned. And it'll be a ball up right in front of your broadcast position. Phil Aspinall, Chris Kendall, your commentary team. Bryce bringing you all the action on the camera. Clever hand pass creative there from Nichols. Gives off to Riley Knight. Kicks towards half forward. Josh Ryan on this occasion said to Paddy Weckett, "You won the last one. This one's mine." And it's with the vice captain in the helmet from half back.
If I had a man playing for my life in the SANFL, I reckon Josh Ryan would be very high up on that list. I don't think he'd let too many come through there. Punch out of the Brady Seals hands, all far too high there on Riley Knight. They must honestly be wondering what he's done to annoy the West Adelaide team in the second half. 16-point margin to the Eagles. Knight sends them up again in towards the Ryan direction. Rinse, repeat. Second mark in 45 seconds. Now, is he going to switch it after the last time it didn't go so well?
Talented footballer on the field, Chris, but a great person off the foot. He does a lot of work for child sponsorships and also a talented graphic designer. Designed the opening round logo on the SANFL website.
Certainly did. Frost was a speculative handball into trouble. Kobe Ryan arrives at the situation. Elam just down there behind play. A couple of West Adelaide players just taking their time getting up in the minute. Round one, and it's a fairly warm day.
Yeah, that's cramped for Elam as well. I can see the calves inverted there. You know, when you get it, there's nothing worse after a long pre-season and the hot slog, and you get to round one on a warm day. And the trainer there just trying to release that cramp in that left leg for Hamish Elam.
Oh, I know that feeling in the commentary box, Phil. The problem is we haven't got trainers to massage out those cramps. We just battle on undeterred. Ballenden with a very forceful tap in towards the forward 50. Ball just comes spinning out. Weckett trying to work the hands free. If you've worked the arms free, I reckon you've got Pryor. Umpire let that one go with the benefit of a graved out ball out. 45 out from the Eagles goal. They lead by 16, 17 gone.
Interesting non-decision there. The Bloods fans would be a bit disappointed as Weckett will compete in the ruck against Brammick. Bigger frame there, just bustles his way to the side. It comes out to Redfern, who intercepted the hand pass of Sinor. Now Searle chased down from behind, manages to get boot to ball, but it's chopped off nicely here by Litster. So Litster now, dangerous kick, but it is an effective one to find young Herbert. Former state under-18s representative. The kick in board is a good one. He's found Buck in some space, and he marks about 48 metres out to Zach Buck, former state under-18s captain. There's Buck now from Port Districts. They breed him tough out there. Previously wore Guernsey number 49.
Umpires are fans of his too. 15 free kicks, 5 against in his last 7.
Definitely goes and gets the footy first, and more often than not, you get rewarded. He'll play on now. Runs himself into a little bit of trouble. A journey of indecision there from Buck. He kicks it laterally, though, and in some space again has been the very impressive Mackay. And Luke Mackay on debut will be going back, Chris, to line up for goal number 3.
This is the third quarter of football I've called this man. I'm prepared to call this one home already. He's just got such an accurate, beautiful kicking style at him. I reckon this one is home, and the Eagles will be out to 22 after this.
So kick one in the first, one in the third. Has 2 goals, 1 in his SANFL League debut. Luke Mackay, 27 years of age, 183 centimetres, so that medium type forward. He's good at ground level, and he's shown so far he knows where the goals are. We're right behind it on the SANFL Now screen. Chris Kendall called it beautifully. Luke Mackay kicked it beautifully, and that's a third. And the Eagles going about their business impressively in this third quarter. 12-9-81 the Eagles. The Bloods 9-5-59. Quality finish from a quality recruit to the SANFL, Chris.
Most certainly is. And Woodville-West Torrens have gone back to a more blue-collar style of football, it's safe to say, in this third term there. They certainly weren't playing overly flashy football in that first half, but they've really got down, got the knees dirty, and really prepared to go and win the contested ball. And they're just starting to harass some of the younger West Adelaide team in errors. The other thing we're noticing, a lot of the younger West Adelaide players and less experienced ones starting to get the cramp. This is the time that the whips really start cracking and the experience comes to the fore. Yeah,
it'll be a challenge to see which side can get through after a long slog of pre-season. So we know we're in round one, of course. Just quickly to mention the winners last night. Well done to Norwood on the season opener. Done better than their 0-8 last year, and the Doggies get a first up win against the Roosters by 27 points.
Bounce favoured Bromwich, if anything. Frost gets the centre clearance straight away for West Adelaide as they go deep in towards the attacking zone. It's been well picked up there at the fall of the ball by Moore. Trying to work his way through the situation there was McCormick. Ball comes spinning back in board now. It's with Morris. Frost is going to have a shot. Kicked a nice goal earlier on, but not able to do so there. Marked on the last line of defence. Now it's going to come out to Williams, who's faded out of the contest after a bright start. Knight, 40 out from his defensive goal. Got a couple of options shortish for him. Roland, for some reason, is hiding behind the boundary umpire. Comes down towards this centre wing, however. This is set up for Redden at the fall of the ball. Beautiful mark for the big man. Showed all the while and goal of his 33 years of age.
You can understand why Sam Jacobs asked him to come out and play and just be that veteran in the big man brigade.
Yeah, you can't beat experience, can you, in those sorts of sight lines? They work down the lines. Weckett gets the strong lead up. Now Cook's breaking in towards the 50. Sino looks up and has seen that too, but it now develops into a 2-on-1 situation. Great mark taken to the front there. Well done by young Minchella, and the Bloods will relieve 25 out from defensive goal.
Yeah, very impressive mark. Caught his debut over in Port Lincoln last year in round 6 against Norwood. He had a pretty good game that day. Showed some promise, the big, tall beanstalk, as he's gone laterally now to Williams, who's recovered from that cramp. Clears defensive 50 for West Adelaide. Getting a hand on it, Ned Stevens. Haven't called the Stevens boys too much today. We have called this man in Ryan. Takes a bounce to Kobe, then looks for a target. That's a creative kick out the back. Some space for McCormick. And he's taken the mark 45 metres out. Cleverly gives it off to Stevens. I just mentioned he's being quiet. He'll waltz into an open goal square. Handball over the top. And Cinderbury slots one through. So coast-to-coast footy for the Bloods. They stay in touch. 10-5-65. 12-9-81 the Eagles, 21.5 gone. Cinderbury kicks the easiest of goals, CK. A Joe the Goose, you could say, his second on the afternoon.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, as long as you get it through the big sticks, he won't mind too much about it. But you're right there. That was just really good football there by West Adelaide. They just ran through in numbers. They were able to create the mismatch with that quick transition play from half-back. That's the sort of thing Adam Hartley will look for. Occasionally it won't work, but the times it does is going to justify those taking those chances and rolling the dice.
And the Bloods staying in this contest. We touched earlier a couple of times that they won with a kick after the siren last year. That was former player that kicked the winning goal after the siren there in Liam Delahunty. Prior to that, the Bloods had lost the last 8 in a row against the Eagles.
They're certainly within touching distance at the moment at the 22-minute mark. Bromwich and Redden to resume hostilities. Bromwich with a decisive tap forward straight down to Adam Deloyer. His influence has been dulled in this term. Goes in towards the forward 50. Comes straight out of the hands. Mackay couldn't get his fourth, could he? No, he could not. Minus score. The commentary box went up and so did half the crowd. 12-10-82. West Adelaide 10-5-65.
So Jordan White with the kick-in duties now for the Bloods. Finished in 10th spot last year. 4 wins, 13 losses and a draw. And the Eagles, as we touched on in the intro, their worst finish to a season since 1995 when they finished in 8th then as well. 2 years prior were premiers, of course, under Bruce Winter. There's a hand pass there out of congestion. Kruger had it smothered. Great work from Morris. Been impressed by him off the non-preferred left. Ballenden couldn't take it, but a great defensive spoil. Still in play in the end. No, it wasn't over the line for a boundary throw-in. And if there was ever a stat for effective spoils, and I'm sure Champion Data probably keep it, Josh Ryan would lead all comers most weeks. Ball's going to be thrown back into play. Left forward pocket down at the club room or northern end. Approaching three-quarter time, 23.5 gone. Tapped by Sell into some space. A chance here, though, for the Eagles. A dribble, a roll towards goal. Missed by Mackay. So peppering the scoreboard. He's now got 3 goals, 3 on debut. One of the best players out there for mine. And we've travelled 23 and 3/4 minutes. It's 12-11-83, 10-5-65 in favour of the Eagles.
Talk about the play with the hot hand. Luke Mackay's had the last 4 shots for Woodville-West Torrens. So they need to really look at manning up on him, West Adelaide. As the ball comes back in for the kick in, Redden's got his hands written all over that one. Unfortunately, someone pulled them out from under the rug. Deloya, who goes in towards the 50, slips through Mackay's hands. West Adelaide, big bruising tackle laid there. Is that going to be holding the ball? Yes, it is. Well, that was a very quick call from the umpire. Certainly the right one, you would say, as Nichols emerges with the pill.
Yeah, an interesting decision. I'm just going to catch the replay on delay on the SANFL Now stream. And yeah, the Eagles obviously happy with the decision. The Bloods players weren't too pleased with the decision. He's taken them the tackle immediately, went to ground, and for mine, no prior opportunity. But that's why we're up here, and the men in pink are the ones out there.
Sam Nichols has finally taught the umpires the right way around. This is only his second free kick in his last 8 matches. And he'll be lining up from almost straight in front to try and get this out to a 24-point margin. No breeze to speak of. Plenty of accuracy to speak of for Sammy Nichols as he nails his first of the day. Bit of breathing space for Woodville-West Torrens. 13-11-89. West Adelaide 10-5-65. 25 gone. Again, it's just those class moments in the contested situations that are proving too much at the moment for West Adelaide.
Yeah, and we saw the Bloods obviously get their run on in the second term, but for mine, the Eagles stemmed the flow a little bit just before half-time, and they've been able to keep West Adelaide at arm's length at the moment, and I think on paper they're a classier side than the Bloods, but this has been a cracking first-up game, CK, for season 2024.
Absolutely fantastic advertisement for SANFL football, no question about that, folks. If you are watching on the AFL app there as well, big welcome to all of our friends watching from all around Australia and all around the world.
Down at Noarlunga, still the Panthers in front of the Crows by 6 points. The Adelaide side have made a bit of a comeback. 14 minutes got in the final term there. And a clearance going the way now of West Adelaide here at Woodville. Frost with a raking kick inside 50. Ferns backs back with courage. It comes down towards Moore. Spun in a tackle. Good work in here by the Bloods. Ned Stevens throws it on the boot. A high floating ball. Looking down there for an opponent to spoil the ball through. Coming nicely there was Roland. He wants holding the ball to the Bloods. A free kick, I think it's going to be. No, it's a point the score. So Roland quickly takes the kick back in play. 10-6-66. The Eagles 13-11-89.
All that what's going on. Poor Sammy Frost was down again behind playing so down for a long time holding that shoulder. He really has been knocked from pillar to post today. Throw in.
Hasn't had a good run with injury, has he, Chris?
No, he hasn't, but you can't fault his heart. He's got back up there after shaking his head and getting, wondering what he's done to upset the karma gods. Throw in. Favours Ballenden. Double-fisted tap down. Ned Stevens got the secondary ball up. Try to work it out of the danger zone. West Adelaide. Elam has to get a little bit of support. Does get it coming back initially, but goes back in and wins his own ball. Well done, young man. So working up towards the attacking zone. Ned Stevens was the only player who really went for that for any conviction. It was almost like the players had thought something had stopped in the background.
Yeah, he got separation on his opponent. It was a well-weighted kick. I think the teammate in Brady Sell just kept the Eagles' opponent there in Max Litzter out of the contest. And as we said, Stevens, Ned variety, able to take an uncontested mark.
Average 4 tackles in 2023. Not really known as a goal kicker. Has 5 at SANFL level in his 15th game. But this to try and get the margin back to 17. There's a fair bit of air in that kick. Is that going to be knocked through for a minor score? Yes, it is. The miserly Eagles defence. 10-7-67, 22-point margin. Adrift of Woodville-West Torrens at 13-11-89.
So a point there to the Bloods. Played 5 VFL games, Ned Stevens, for the Gold Coast Suns reserves. Originally from the top end of Waratah. As the siren sounds as Williams took the kick. Her coaching tenure here at Woodville-West Torrens. As the umpire holds the ball aloft. We're underway in the final term. And it'll be Redden to compete against Bramich, who jumps early. Hit out from Redden down to Deloya, coming through Kobe Ryan rather. Also in there, Joe Sinor. And he did a stand-up somersault, Joe Sinor, just to try and get out of the contest there. It'll be a secondary ball up with umpire David Soberaj. Shout out to Warren Partland, who'll be listening into the stream as well. As the kick out of the contest around the corner from Knight. Bounce fortuitously here for Newman. Gets a hand pass out. Looking for Deloya. Tried to spin out of the tackle. Was successful. Comes back where it started with Knight. He's normally a good ball user. Pops it to the teeth of goal. But that one was a wayward kick, and intercepting nicely was Moline for the Bloods.
He's got Johnson breaking into space out there on the outer side. Dropping in and filling the hole, however, is Joel Stevens, who brings it back into Kobe Ryan. I almost wonder if we need to call him Crying and Drying to make things a little bit more easy. But anyway, turnover has developed here at centre-half back for West Adelaide. as the pack develops. Ball up. Actually, crying and drying sounds more like a country song. Anyway, ball up. Near the Woodville-West Torrens attacking zone. Tackle laid. Ball up. At the bottom of the pack there is Tom Morris, who's had a really good game today. Kicked a fantastic goal in that second term. Ball up. Tap down. Redden. Almost the head there almost of poor old Will Patton, who certainly has not looked out of place on debut. Sitting on top of him is Nichols, who kicked the final goal of the third term. Ball up. After
trailing all day, CK, down at Nollunga, the Crows have hit the front by a point. 24 minutes gone down there.
Set for an intriguing finish called by Chris Carey and Jack Hanneth down there. Working his way through traffic, Morris got his way through the first tackle. Patton just pulls the kick there at the last minute and spots it up to his fellow bootmaker companion in Krieger.
So Krieger on debut, the future of the West Adelaide Footy Club. Some impressive defensive stocks for the Bloods. The kick from Krieger down the line to a contest, looking there for Sell. Good work, Ferns managed to come across and get a fingertip on the spoil over the line. So a reset here in front of your broadcast position. Phil Aspinall, Chris Kendall, your commentary team. Round 1, 2024 SANFL Host Plus competition. Throw in from the umpire, favoured Redden. Elam there applies a tackle on Deloya. Coming in there as well was Stevens, Joel Variety rather, and we'll have another ball up.
A few of the crowd not too thrilled with that throw in there. There was a fair bit of vociferous discussion.
It almost went at 45-degree angles, Chris. As the umpire throws the footy up to get us underway. Redden hits it down. Williams hit the contest hard. Ferns in there with Sinor. He's dispossessed in the tackle. The umpire's paid a hanging-on decision just as the Bloods went inside 50 and the Ryan kick found Bramick. A little unlucky for the West Adelaide team for mine, but Joe Sinor, the recipient of the advantageous decision. Married in the off-season did Joe Sinor. Kick long down the line. Ballenden jumps early. Good spoil from Ryan. And over the line it goes as Ballenden might have copped a bit of a knock to the eye as he was coming to ground, but the result will be a boundary throw, and we've travelled 3.5 minutes in this final term. It's the Eagles 13-11-89, the Bloods 10-7-67.
Boundary throw in. 50-50 decisions haven't exactly gone West Adelaide's way today, to be fair to say. Redden scoops it out of the air, identifies Deloya as the best option to get it through to. Up towards centre half forward, strong mark taken there by Newman. Now they're streaming back into attack, but Newman has turned his back on all of his teammates with absolutely no intention of passing it off. He's going to own the situation himself.
He needs to do that, Chris. When players do turn around and not actually see players in a better position, the onus and the responsibility goes back on them. They've got to make the most of it and finish off here with Newman.
Making his league debut after 47 reserves games as he crosses the 50. Will he be joining the SANFL Goal Club? No, he will not. Taken on the last line of defence here. Krieger's got Patton calling for it very short. My apologies, not Krieger. Josh Ryan either way, takes it at half back. Chips over the top. Worked our way around to Krieger eventually. 60 out from his defensive goal. Now looks to cut back inboard towards a contested situation. Punch comes down. Deloya at the full ball. That was good use of the body there by the young midfielder. Brings it in by hand. We're now spots up towards Buck. They've got the options cruising through. Beacon looks to take a bounce. Chips it over the top by hand. Nichols has one already and now he's got two. Really composed football there by Woodville-West Torrens and gets it out to a 28-point lead. Danger signs flashing for Adam Hartlett. 14-11-95. West Adelaide 10-7-67. Who supports community footy in SA? Amy does. Tick Amy CTP on your renewal notice. They'll look after you every time.
And this is exactly what we said at three-quarter time, wasn't it, Chris? We don't want the Bloods to be blown out of the water here. They've shown great competitiveness, and they have done in recent years under Adam Hartlett, but to go to the next level, they've got to stay in these games, and now back out to nearly that 5-goal buffer. I think it's pretty important that West Adelaide get an answer back here, Chris.
This is where the real challenge is going to be thrown down to the team. And this is where we're going to find out a lot about the mental side of the very young West Adelaide outfit. Most of them tipped to finish bottom two. They've certainly played above themselves today. Let's see how they finish it out.
Of course, these two sides faced off in the 2015 Grand Final, where the Bloods won their last premiership way back then. I always like to squeeze in a Google calculators between days, Chris. That was only 3,107 days ago for the Bloods fans, remembering the good old days. is back in the stoppage. Well done by Delory. He's fast on his way to best on ground praise this afternoon. The kick towards half forward, marked nicely by Newman. A quick hand pass. Here's that transition footy from the Eagles out the back off the ground. A soccer, a kick, a goal. Rowe gets one. He joins the party on the scoreboard. A 34-point advantage now to the Eagles. And in the blink of an eye, this game getting away from the Bloods. 15-11. 101 are the Eagles. West Adelaide 10-7-67. And danger signs for Adam Hartlett there, Chris.
There most certainly are now. James Rowe has been very quiet all day, but quality bobs up to the surface in when it really counts. And that just breaks that run for Mackay and Nichols that had the last 6 scoring shots between them for the Eagles. And
I think Sam Jacobs will be pleased as well. They've shared the load. Luke Mackay has been the star with 3 goals, but Rowe's goal becomes the 11th goal kicker for the Eagles. Good teamwork to share the load.
You mentioned that 2015 Grand Final, a Jack Oatey medalist there, Chris Schmidt, now the Director of Football, is my understanding, at West Adelaide. So, good appointment there for them.
Yeah, top bloke is Schmidt. I saw him at the season launch on Tuesday, and a premiership captain he'll always be. 44
disposals in that game too. As trying to work through now is Knight. His opposing 7 just worrying him out of it, and Joel Stevens. Fall the ball there is Johnson, ball up.
One of those players that you often talk about, you think about players that could have played more AFL football. And Chris Schmidt, whilst he had a lot of injuries, he spent time with the Crows in Brisbane, but he was a great player for Westies.
Most certainly was. Joel Stevens navigates his way out of the situation. Sends West Adelaide in towards attack. Elam took it out of the air. Did get a handball away. Morris just cruises away from the situation. Coughed that one straight up there. Lucas Moline was largely minding his own business when it landed in his lap.
I reckon the Bloods have got to get a goal out of this forward four, Chris?
Quite agree, Phil, as they go into the attacking zone. Punch comes in over the top. Morris at the fall of the ball. Working through. Getting the hand away. Cinderberry twisting, turning. West Adelaide just overusing the handball slightly at the moment. Their pressure is still very, very high. Trying to bring it out of that back zone there is Moore. Sends it out towards the scoreboard side. Moline arrives again. Kobe Ryan taken high. Certainly umpire. Oh, boy. No, they've missed that one. I don't normally get stuck into the men in pink, but they've missed one there. But they are also 150 metres away as the Eagles lead by 34 points.
And there was a lot of conjecture and traffic around in that contest, and it was quite obvious to up both of us up here in the grandstand, but the result is a ball up just on the arc of 50, right forward pocket, down to that northern end. Redden won it down, taking possession there. Hard up against the boundary line was Morris, and over it goes. So 101 plays 67, 25 goals kicked in the opening round of season 2024. So a free-flowing game of footy that has really seen the Eagles hold West Adelaide at bay for the majority of the game. Bloods went on a run and kicked 5 goals, and they're looking to get another goal here. The hand pass came out of conjecture, bobbling around the footy now at ground level. Moline can't take it cleanly. Eagles player might have been ridden into the ground. A chance now to question the non-decision from the umpire. As Lodato gets himself out of the pack there. Buck at the bottom of the pack as well.
Like I was saying before, but the 50-50s just don't seem to be going West way at the moment.
Tend to agree there as the ball up, Redden front position. Deloyer span out of trouble, gave it to Sinor. Good run now from half back for the Eagles through Riley Knight. He'll throw it on the boot to centre wing. It bounces fortuitously for Cook. Under some pressure from his direct opponent there in Minchella. The kick is towards half forward, and it's been paid to the big man there in Ballenden. I think the Eagles wanted to play on advantage, but if it was a mark, you can't play on advantage from that decision. The former Brisbane Lion, state representative, as Chris mentioned earlier in the call. Runs his full measure from the mark, kicks a wobbly ball inside 50, Goldsworthy from behind. Good work defensively here from Kruger. Chance coming up there for McCormick. That should be paid high. It's been spotted by 2 of the 3 umpires out there, and it'll be a free kick with a little bit of feeling, Chris, but it's going to go the way of Dylan McCormick. It
was also spotted by the West Adelaide fans sitting in front of us. Lodato takes it centre wing grandstand side. His team currently trailing by 34. Looping over the top. Oh, he's sold Morris into all sorts of trouble. That's going to be holding the ball every day of the week. As Williams had him bang to rights. Williams is trying to extract a 25 out of the situation. Umpire's not buying what he's selling. Goes sideways by foot. We now spots up to Thompson. I've hardly called Thompson today, I must admit. He's been very low on disposal, but that's not unusual, to quote Tom Jones, as Mackay spots it up now to Goldsworthy. He'll be lining up from just outside 50.
Goldsworthy's had a pretty good day today. He's kicked the 1 goal in the first term. He's had a few clever moments, some class there from the veteran, and lining up for his second, as we say.
I reckon the last bloke to wear 29 in this jumper could play a bit too in the form of Andrew Taylor. They do look slightly different in appearance.
Can't see a long flowing blonde mullet.
No, indeed. Goldsworthy opens up the angle, though, and in doing so, works it through for a minor score. That is a 35-point margin now, which is a game high for Woodville-West Torrens, as they lead West Adelaide, ticking over into 11 minutes.
If they take any confidence out of their ability to hang tough, the Bloods kick 5 in a row. They'll need to go on that similar kind of run if they're going to pull off the upset here. As the kick out wasn't a good one from Patton. It was intercepted nicely there by Herbert. Touched over the boundary line it goes.
The electronic scoreboard's seen enough, it's been turned off.
Yeah, they had trouble with it during the women's game as well. Luckily we've got the old style one here at Montane Care Oval. About 11.5 minutes gone in this final quarter. Umpire Burton throws the ball back into play. Ballenden won it down front position. Coming out of trouble there, Stevens. He was able to just get a hand pass away. Have a little tap onto the advantage of Williams. Off the non-preferred left. Kicks around the corner. Inside 50. A shallow entry. Good work, Minchella front position. Brings it down. Gets it back from his teammate there in Moline. The kick, though, under pressure. Forced over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full. So it'll be a free kick to be brought back into play by Luke Mackay. Impressive debutant who's kicked 3 goals, 3. The 27-year-old from Narrandera. Kick inboard is a good one. Goldsworthy dropped what he should have taken. In fact, it was the player there in Nichols. Hard up against the line again. We'll have a boundary throw-in. In fact, no. High contact. Be a free kick to the Bloods, and it will go the way of the impressive young debutant in Will Patton.
He's just making sure his head's still attached at the moment. He was certainly caught high as Patton wheels onto that left foot. That is a raking foot on this young man. I feel like we've got Tom Fields back at the moment. Ferns takes the defensive mark. Sends Woodville-West Torrens again in towards the forward 50. Minchella's been wrapped up straight away by Cook. Ball up.
We talked about Luke Mackay and the impressive start he's had to his SANFL career. Shout out to Mitch Hardy, of course, a former Eagles player who was picked up by Geelong. They played with each other in the NEFL and I was able to get Mackay down to Oval Avenue.
Minchella gets it out to a 2-on-1. Big fly back there from Morris. Wasn't able to quite bring it to ground. Comes back in now, the Eagles. West Adelaide. Cinderberry goes out and towards the pocket. It's an easy pick-off, however, there for Thompson, who looks to go sideways where it's Litster. So Litster waits for something to present. Beacon in all sorts of space there is Ryan. They're starting to really run now, this more hardened Woodville-West Torrens team, as they chip it inboard towards Buck. Goldsworthy's just come off the bench, but he's not in an enormous hurry to run to the next contest.
Full time at Noarlunga CK. The Crows have got up by 5 points. Billy Dowling kicking a goal late.
Roller coaster season for South Adelaide, suspect about to happen. Speaking of roller coasters, a man to be very adept on once he'd never lose his footing, Josh Ryan.
Takes the mark, chips backwards to Patton, who's wearing the yellow boots on debut. Thank you for that. It helps the commentators as the kick is a dangerous one. Bit off more than he could chew. Redfern overran it. Numbers will win out now here for the Eagles. Williams picks it up cleanly. Had Herbert there in support. Williams ignores that. Goes inside 50 and finds Weckett. He's got a teammate all alone in the goal square. Well done, though, by Patton. Weckett's effort second was good. Gives it back to Goldsworthy. He'll want the left foot. He'll lower the eyes. Kick towards the goals. And Goldie sealed it. A second to Matty, the veteran. Goldsworthy kicks his second. And the Eagles get their 16th, 16-12, 108. They'll be home against the Bloods, 10-7-87. We've travelled 14 minutes in this final term, and class normally rises to the top. CK, Goldsworthy with a good finish.
Just think it's now the battle-hardened bodies that are really starting to come to the fore for
Agreed.
them now. They know what to do in these sort of situations, these experienced Woodville-West Torrens players. And this is probably going to be a bit of a tail of the tape, you would say, for West Adelaide this season. They're going to have really competitive stretches, no question about that. But when they come into the bigger-bodied teams, they're going to start to be exposed a little bit with that. This is a learning year for Adam Hartman's
I was about
team.
to say a learning curve for the Bloods. They'll need to just take the positives away from this game, but know that they need to play 4 quarters of footy. They got off to a slow start. They fought back in the second term, but you've got to put it close enough to 4 quarters of footy together at this level.
So back in the centre, Elam going at it against Ballenden. That's going to be recalled. Umpires today, Zach Packer, Davis Sobrio, Sam Morgan. I wonder if they call him young Zach Pack in the umpiring fraternity. You're friends with the umps. Phil, I'd like to get some intelligence on that one, please. Elam just works it out of the centre circle. Sends West Adelaide up and towards half forward. Slip through Fern's fingers. McCormick at the back. Heard the voice to the side there of Ladato where Bananas are back. Oh, rotten place for a post if you're a West Adelaide fan. 10-8-68. It's back to a 40-point margin for the Eagles. 16-12, 108. And if you're like Graham Campbell and took the 1-39 at the moment, you'd be a bit nervous, I'd say, if you were the Eagles.
Dardo unlucky there to hit that post, as Chris said. Made his league debut in the same game Kobe Ryan did against the Crows 2 years ago. And we'll jump to number 65 then. He's nearly halved it in 23 now. As the kick in from the defensive 50 mark by Litster. He'll bring it to this broadcast side wing through the hands of Newman. He's been impressive on debut, just soccers it towards half forward. Williams should escort it against the line. He does. Tracks over the boundary line with Cook, and it'll be a boundary throw in around about 80 metres out from the Eagles' goal. We've travelled 16 minutes plus in this final term. Round 1, 2024 Host Plus season. Sam Jacobs will go on to record a win in his first year as coach. He was an assistant coach for the Adelaide Crows previously. 35-year-old, of course, from Ardrossan on the York Peninsula, as Deloya, one of the best on ground today, taps it to the advantage of Mackay. Kicks it around the corner to the hot spot. Williams went up one-handed. Opportunity here for the Bloods to repel. The hand pass comes in the Minchella direction. He throws it on the boot in earnest. And under the pressure from the Eagles forward, out of bounds on the full. Goes into the crowd, so someone's going to get a possession out there on the outer side, on the broadcast side. CK Deloya with the free kick. Very
nice handball by the young man. We might be calling him in 6 or 7 years. Deloya pokes it in towards the 50, just knocked out of the willing hands there of Cook. Smother comes in from Mackay, goes back in there a second time. Morrish tries to divert it away from a dangerous situation. Comes down for Bramich. Did he get a hand on that one? It is a throw in, just getting the hand on it. Haven't minded young Dylan Bramich's game. He has been outpointed in the ruck, but he's been all right around the ground, I think. Gives him some grunt.
Yeah, and he can go forward as well. He comes over from Tasmania 2 seasons ago. I know there were a couple of SANFL clubs chasing his services from the great footy club, the Penguin Blues, the 2 Blues they were called.
Umpires don't mind him either. He's had a free in every SANFL game so far, as it's a very shallow throw-in from the boundary umpire.
Now, I may mention he knows how to kick a goal. Well, he played mainly as a forward over there in Tasmania. For the Penguin 2 Blues, he kicked 126 goals, Chris, from 136 games, so near on a goal a game.
That's a pretty reasonable effort. I wonder what the Penguins logo is, just on a hunch. Anyway, Deloya goes sideways to Williams, who just navigated his way through the situation. Coughed it up, however. Frost was taken low, said the umpire. Stevens, no, there's no advantage, they've stopped play.
I don't suspect it'll be a first seal or any other kind of nautical animal, Chris. I reckon it's a good chance it'll be those familiar with Granite Island.
And all those who own polar bears are shaking their head, goes sideways. Of course, you don't find penguins and polar bears in the same area. There, I did learn something from geography. Anyway, working forward now is Morrish, who sends it up in towards the Elm direction, looking to try and keep the feet there. Thompson shoveled it out towards his teammate there. Trying to work it through by hands now, as Litster decides he's seen enough of the situation. Sends it out towards that outer side. Eagles now should be able to break into space. Goldsworthy has got plenty of that to work with.
So the young man, I'll call him a young man, from Curramulka on the York Peninsula, kicks it forward to Weckett, lowers the eyes, goes inside 50. This is great footy from the Eagles, and a good mark in the outstretched fingertips to Cook. Just showed some class there, did the Eagles. They used the space on the switch from that outer side. And Cook now has taken the mark. Left forward pocket, Chris, about 30 metres out on a pretty tight angle.
Haven't minded his game too today. Also for a debutant, he's really presented very well. It hasn't been high on possessions, but his one-on-one contests have been really good in bringing it to ground for the runners if he can't get it himself.
So, made his debut in round 3 last year against Glenelg. Just played the one league game in 2023. He's kicked off the season 2024 in the ones. Can he add to his scoring tally? Left forward pocket, southern end, the kick looks good. He's worked it back beautifully, and that's a nice finish there for the young man for the Eagles in Cook. And that is Woodville-West Torrens' 17th goal, 17-12-114. Westies 10-8-68 in this final term. We've just about ticked into time on.
Nice way to get your first SANFL goal too, so well done to the young man. So a couple that have joined that club today, Mackay and Cook, of course, and Litster as well, so they're breaking their drought there, Woodville-West Torrens players.
And Krieger from the Bloods as well, Chris.
Indeed he has. So
he just comes on now for a spell on the bench.
Liked what we said and thought I want to go and join that club a second time. Back in the centre, as we're now heading in towards time on here. It'll be a big win on the scoreboard to Woodville-West Torrens. I'm not sure that's accurately really reflecting the contest in some ways. West Adelaide were very gallant for at least 2 quarters. Redden tap down. Riley Knight laying the tackle, ball up as the 2 sevens go at it. So secondary ball up. Redden getting the tap down. Kruger on hands and knees. Comes in board. Joel Stevens. Haven't minded his game today. Maguire Now it comes out. Redfern over the top by hand. Elam should finish off. He deserves it. He's had a pretty good game. No minor score. Talk him out of it. 10-9 at 69 West Adelaide. Eagles 17-12, 114.
Should have done better there, the big fella from Griffith in country New South Wales, but behind the result. Hasn't had an impact on the scoreboard today, as he normally does, but spent some time in the ruck. As the kick-in finds more for the Eagles in the left back pocket. As we said earlier in the call, former Glenelg player. He chipped short to find the skipper in Joe Sinor. Had a pretty good game today, bar a couple of poor disposals earlier in the contest. State captain last year, 2 flags, 2 BNFs, as I said earlier. High kick to that outer side. Front position, Ballenden, but well done there. And the big fella in Bramage. In fact, it was against Redden. I've loved that battle today. It's been 2 giants going at it. Both have had their moments. Dylan Bramage takes that contested mark. Big, long, booming kick towards the teeth of goal. A fly from a couple of players at the back. Eagles there more. Couldn't take it. Ferns with a looping hand pass. He looks to give it off to Roland. Chip towards half back. It could have been a mark paid there to Redden. Nothing doing, said the umpire. Comes back in board. It ends up in the hands of Hyam on debut. His rush kick wasn't great, and Williams will repel from half back for the Eagles.
He will. Looks to go out towards that outer side where it's taken by Goldsworthy, who brings it back in board. A little bit too hot there for the intended target of Cook. Goes back in there a second time. Sinor. Handball was coughed up there towards Kobe Ryan. Looking to go sideways now. It comes to Josh Ryan, who's just been worried out of the contest. Now it's with Goldsworthy. Got a bit of time and space in which to move. And he's got Colin Ballenden in all sorts of space. Can just chip it over the top, which he does so very unselfishly. And working through now will be Newman, who will also join the club of players to kick their first SANFL SANFL League goal. Well done to Will Newman. He's had a pretty good game today. 18-12, 120. West Adelaide 10-9, 69. 51-point margin now to the Eagles.
Yeah, all academic for Woodville-West, Torrens, and good to get the youngster on debut involved as well. And he's been impressive. I think he was runner-up in the reserves, best and fairest. And Chris, you said he's had 40-plus consecutive games of reserves footy before getting a crack at league footy. And they're the kind of players the SANFL future needs to have around, because ordinarily the temptation would be to go to the country, to go to the hills, or play local amateur footy for better money. But he's been rewarded with a league debut and a goal in his first game.
And a nice touch here to see Cade Herbert coming onto the ground for the last few minutes here, wearing a very, very famous number here in Woodville colours. Of course, it was worn by the ultimate warrior, Zip Zap Sewer.
Yes, Ralph was a fan favourite back in the day for sure. There's the umpire ready to get us back underway. Time clock at the ground has stopped working. About 23.5 minutes into this final quarter. As Redden tapped it down, looking here for Knight. Overran the footy under some pressure from the Bloods. Overrunning it again there was Redden. Rowe goes in low, taken immediately in a frost tackle. And hasn't had the greatest of days, Jimmy Rowe. He's had plenty of teammates share the load. There's a stalemate there from the stoppage. Ryan floats a high ball towards half forward, but well done, nicely read there from Max Litster. Getting a bit of cramp, as most players have done so today. It's a warm day in Adelaide, about 30 degrees the top. Good Friday footy in the SANFL. Ferns couldn't take it, outnumbered 2-on-1. And there was Moline, but doing well there for the Eagles was Williams. In fact, it was Buck, apologies, and we'll have another ball up on that outer side. Just attacking side of centre wing for the Eagles. They're kicking to the right of your SANFL Now screen. I trust you've enjoyed today's broadcast, Phil Aspinall and Chris Kendall, as the Eagles weren't able to get that footy from the stoppage. They've kicked it to half forward, the Bloods, and it's been marked here by Ned Stevens. Might just have the kick in him, but he's going to look for a target in a better position. Elam dropped what he should have taken. Good pressure there from Woodville Torrens. That should be an E free to McCormick. I thought he had his legs taken out, but it's Mackay will take advantage for the Eagles, and they're away.
They are indeed coming up towards the Cook direction. Was his arm being pinned? Umpire said no. Williams was good to affect the contest, as there's going to be a ball up now with Nichols at the bottom of that pack.
Nearing quarter time down at the Bay CK, and it is Port Adelaide 3-3-21 leading the Tigers 2-1-13.
Positive start there for Port Adelaide. Are we seeing their last year in the SANFL? Time will tell. Redden just takes it out of the air.
Regardless of whether you love or hate them, it will be a sad day.
It absolutely will be a very, very sad day. No question about that. Rowe searching hopefully for Deloya. Ball now ends up with Mackay, who takes a bounce. Oh, that's a very clever little chip over the top. He needs his intended target and Cook to get it, though. Oh, it's walking straight into the tackle there was Buck, and it was a high one, said the umpire. So, now Buck, who just really needs Berry and Stipe to bob up at the moment to really complete the trifecta. Fans of 80s music will know that one. The rest of you are wondering what I'm talking about. Go to Wikipedia. See where the names Buck, Berry and Stipe appear. Anyway, as people think I'm losing my mind and losing my religion. From just outside 50, Zach Buck. He's had a pretty good game today. I don't reckon this distance is beyond him. He just opens up the angle ever so slightly now. There is going to be a free, or is a players wanted into a restricted zone, so he gets another kick.
Yeah, good decision from umpire Sam Morgan. I thought I saw a couple of players get too close to Lucas Moline on the mark, and the right decision's been made, and Buck will go back for take 2.
Certainly wasn't Moline's fault. It'd be very mean to malign Moline. Now Buck has a second shot. As the game is just petering out to the conclusion. Peter Buck? Anyway. Someone across Adelaide's getting that, probably shortly. So he comes in, crosses the 50. Working that back. He's working that back pretty well, but a fist comes in over the top and knocks it through for a minor score. It's a game-high 52-point margin now. Woodville-West Torrens way, 18-13 to 10-9.
It is a shame that the result is going to be as strong as it will be in favour of the Eagles, because the Bloods have had some very impressive moments, particularly in the second term, as Redfern takes the mark, goes to that outer side, intercepted by Litster, couldn't quite take it in the mark, but cleverly tapped it to Ferns. He's got some support in Thompson, the former Crow. The veteran bends down to pick it up and gives it to Deloyer, probably best on ground for mine today. Off now to Williams, handball forward to Newman, back in the 1-2. Bit of a training drill coming up here for the Eagles. He'll check his kick laterally and he'll find a teammate there in Cook. And he's marked about 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And that was pretty academic for the Eagles there, Chris.
Certainly was. Mackay was screaming for it there in the pocket too, but Cook wanted to go back and own the situation.
And Lucas Cook, second game of SANFL League footy. The budget has him as 30, but that's a typo. He wouldn't be 30 years of age. I'm pretty sure he's only 20. On the runway now, leans back on it. It's a nice-looking kick, but it is across the face of the goal. Still in play. An opportunity here with a hand pass over the top. A kick, a snap, and a fourth to Mackay. Right place for a crumbing small forward. The handball was clever from Herbert, and Mackay puts the cream on an impressive cake for the Eagles, CK. 4 goals on his debut and 19 for the Eagles. 19-13, 127, leading the Bloods, who are on 10-9-69.
When you find that when you're a young team, that some of the basics start to drop away in these sorts of moments here. This has been a real blowout in this final term. 6 goals, 2-2 behinds for West Adelaide. That's going to be the thing that's going to take Adam Hartlett a while to try and work out with this team, making sure they keep their heads in these sorts of situations. But Mackay has been very good, no question about that today. And if Lucas Cook is 30, well, I'm 80, so I'm getting very concerned.
Yes, I think that should have been a 2, not a 3.
Gee, I really hope so, otherwise my life's flashing before my eyes.
Well, he played under 18s 2 years ago, so he can't be 30.
Well, I come from country footy. We saw strange things happen there. Anyway, working it through at the stoppage now. Mackay just pokes it in towards the pocket, looking down there for Ballenden. Rowe. Oh, we can usually make the footy talk in these sorts of situations. He decides to go backwards and bring it into Mackay.
Unselfish from Jimmy Rowe there. He could have taken on the opponent. The siren sounds to end the contest, so it'll be Mackay having a shot after the siren to get 5 goals, or as I like to say, a handful in the SANFL if successful. But it'll be a win to the Eagles in round 1, and a very big one. It could be a 5th for Mackay.
Certainly could be. He'll be lining up to make the margin 64 points. And the Beatles had a song about that back in the day. So Mackay, the Narandera pub will be going off watching this at the moment, as one of their own is having a SANFL debut to remember. Comes in, crosses 50. Oh, and he says, when I'm 64, you'll still need me, all right. 5 goals to Mackay on debut in a magnificent second half here for Woodville-West Torrens. 20 goals, 13, 133 to West Adelaide. 10 goals, 9, 69. Very fitting that young man should finish off.
Yeah, absolutely a great finish. The handful in the SANFL happens for Luke Mackay. 27 years of age, some NEFL experience footy over in interstate with 37 games for Canberra. Played junior footy with Belconnen, and a wonderful debut game for him. And Chris, The Bloods had their moments. They were competitive at times. They trailed by 26 at the first change, 11 at half-time on the back of 5 consecutive goals. But the Eagles, as I said a couple of times, had them at arm's length, 22 points at three-quarter time, and then they run out pretty comfortable victors, 20-13, 133 to the Bloods, 10-9-69.
It was certainly a very dominant second half by the Eagles, wasn't it? 11 goals, 5 in that second half to 2 goals, 6. And that, as I mentioned, that's probably the tail of the tape when you're a young team. West Adelaide, they're going to have some games like this where they're going to be writing things for a long time. The bigger bodies, the absence of those is going to start to hurt them as they start to build the moles in their legs. This is a rebuilding year for West Adelaide. There is no question about that, but there are plenty, and I mean plenty, of green shoots about this club. But well done to Woodville-West Torrens. That was a clinical last 40 minutes of football.
I'll go through the goal kickers, Chris, while you have a think about your SANFL now. 3-2-1 player of the game votes. I suspect the aforementioned Luke Mackay might feature in there somewhere, but goal kickers, Mackay with 5,